Or we're here for the first time.
Oh man. Chat sass all in caps. I didn't mean to do it
Oh,
all in
Owen's
caps.
here.
What's up, Owen? Owen 316. That's what we're calling him now.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, Owen 316. That's funny. Owen 316 and Glint with the host. Thank you so much, Glint. Welcome, welcome. Just gonna, let me know if that's good enough. Putting up the volume over here so we
Good
can
enough.
hear it. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Sorry for the delay. You know, we were busy being parents.
Yeah, it happens. Usually I'm the one that's putting them to bed and, you know,
When
doing
I'm
that.
streaming.
When you're streaming, yeah, because
Yeah.
he's really good at that stuff, so let's not take any credit away from you.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. It's Glint Hammer time. That's his thing, Glint.
Okay.
It's sort of like Vader, who just recently passed away. He used
Aw.
to do it's time, it's time, it's
been
Vader
a
time.
long
So,
time.
ooh,
have
look,
you
do
been?
you remember these intros?
I don't.
Do you want to watch them?
I do.
Yeah, let's watch them. Let's
Let's watch
the
them because
Porter
we're,
intro.
you know, we got to get ready. Oh, I moved. I don't know.
It's alright. Did you
Good,
throw
right?
it off?
No, I think we're good.
You good.
I just love this game so much.
Made with their, I believe they made this intro with their like in-house Valve Movie Maker engine that you can actually like download and people do some crazy stuff with.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's fascinating.
it's big. It's like a big deal. Like people make all these amazing movies with the Valve movie engine.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to go ahead and start playing some Portal 2, which is a game that came out in 2007.
No, wait. 2000. This one came out in 2000. First one came out in 2007.
No, this one came out in 2011, I want to say. Let me double check. You know, and as we talked about when we
These
played
next
Portal
tests
1, like that was just supposed to be like a filler.
Consequently, they have never been solved by
The what?
a human.
The first Portal game.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be just a filler, and this
Right.
one is
You
just
don't
like,
know pride.
all right, I guess
You
we're
don't
making
know
a
fear.
sequel now.
Yeah.
You don't
Guess
know
guess
anything.
there's a whole world here now.
April 18th, 2011.
Oh wow, that's cool.
My schedule said Zelda today. I changed it last minute, Glint. It should be updated. Just double check. I can believe I updated it.
And it is toasty in the house today.
Oh yeah, it's a warm one. So this was a trailer showing off the co-op mode. That was a big deal. That was a big deal, the co-op mode. We're doing fine, Owen. How are you doing tonight?
Continue
So
testing.
what do you, before we start, I wanted to like know what you kind of remember from this game. Do you remember a lot? Because I know you said Portal you didn't remember a lot, and
This one I remember a lot of moments, but I wish I remembered a lot more of the. I think that once you kind of go literally quite
Continue
deep
testing.
into it, I forget a lot of the plot points.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. But I really do. I forget a lot of the plot points because it feels like such a roller coaster ride from the time you start playing this game, which I love about it. As soon as you start playing this game, you're like,
The two
whoa,
of you
we're
have
doing
forged
it,
an
you know.
excellent partnership.
So it's
Now
what I
it's
love
time
about
for
it, but it's
your
also it's hard
reboot.
to keep track of all the plot points, and it's been a while. The big 1-2, right, Owen?
The big one too.
Don't disappoint
And
me.
now, I guess for, you know, maybe as a refresher, why Portal 2? Why are we playing Portal 2? Why did we start with Portal? We started with Portal to get to Portal 2, basically. So why is Portal 2 technically our big first game we're streaming? Even though it's our second game streaming, but
Yes.
this is the feature.
Is it because of what we want to do on YouTube?
Well, that's part of it, but I'm just talking about like why. What do you, in your words, what does Portal 2 mean for us?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a big yep, the big one too. For us, it's a meaningful game because it's one of those games that we played together, and as I explained the last time that we streamed, for those of you that weren't there, I don't, like, a lot of games that we play together, I don't actively play, but, like, you know, it's sort of like an experience for me. We're experiencing it together, even though I'm not holding a controller. Because you won't share.
I would gladly let you solve some of the puzzles.
That's a
you
joke.
want.
That's a joke. It's more.
But you have that motion sickness.
Yeah,
issue.
I get like I didn't grow up with video games for a lot of my childhood, so like for me, I get really bad motion sickness, and it's really hard for me to use the newer controllers versus.
So it's the double joysticks. The double joysticks.
Yeah, that thing. But it was meaningful because we played this together, and you know, it was along with BioShock, and you know. It was one of those games that we experienced together, and it was like a huge, I think, shift also in video games.
Oh yeah.
Where we in storytelling, and for both of us, like we're big nerds when it comes to that stuff, and so it was a nice shared experience. But it was also like really early on in our relationship. I feel like
it's really funny because I was talking about wrestling obviously yesterday, and like from the years like 2006 to 2012, wrestling was kind of like in a really rough transition period. Where I feel like with video games. Those were some really good years because that was a big transition period for video games, and this was definitely Portal and Portal 2. So we're gonna jump in, start a new game.
because this is a much longer game,
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Very narrative heavy.
Yeah.
And again, the puzzles. You know, I do remember some puzzles. You know, later on when you start getting the gooey stuff, like those puzzles really like you have to sit there and think a little bit.
I remember just seeing the trailer for this game blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because we were it was the in-game trailer.
Yeah, the
when they were
gameplay
showing
trailer, yeah.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
I know terminology.
There you go.
I'm not even drinking tonight, folks. Like this is just
Do you want to
ginger.
tell everyone what you're drinking?
What's on tap tonight?
What's on tap?
Tonight I am drinking
Ginger beer.
I'm super sick. I have a really bad summer cold, and I'm drinking ginger beer. And the one from Aldi is extra spicy, so I figured ginger. It's just me pretending like I'm trying to do something good for my body, but it's probably not very good for you.
Mental wellness exercise. You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer,
I'm sorry, I
look
just
up
love
at
this
the
intro. I
ceiling.
have to watch.
No, I mean there's a lot more dialogue. There's a lot more dialogue. You need a coaster? I have plenty of coasters.
Well, it's more.
You need space? You can move the amiibos. Tell them to get out of here. Yeah, Glint, this was released for the 360 as well as the PS3, obviously on Steam for PC and Mac. I'm actually playing it via the Xbox One because it's backwards compatible. So I'm playing it backwards compatible to the Xbox One.
You will hear a buzzer. When you hear the buzzer, look down at the
I
floor.
love this part.
Yeah, so this is a tutorial.
This completes the gymnastic portion of your mandatory physical and mental wellness exercise.
But this is probably one of the funniest tutorials I've ever played in a game.
This is art. You will hear
This
a buzzer.
is art.
When you hear the buzzer, stare at the art.
Just love it.
And there's a little,
You should
little
not
ticker.
feel
A
very
little
weak
ticker
or
making
ill.
sure you're
If you
doing it.
suspect staring at art has not provided the required intellectual sustenance, reflect briefly on this classical music.
So good.
Good. Now, please return to your bed.
And let us know if the audio is coming in pretty well. You know, I do have it, I think, at a pretty good setting. But if it's coming in a little too low, because I do really want people to
You have been in
appreciate.
suspension for
I do want you to appreciate the dialogue and
Anyone in there?
the voice acting in this game,
Hello?
especially
Can you
Wheatley.
open the door at any time?
He's like
Stephen Merchant.
he like kind of steals the show.
He does.
In this
Are
game.
you gonna open this door? Because it's fairly urgent.
I love his dialect. He has
Just
such
open the
a
door.
great accent.
What was the first thing you ever seen Stephen Merchant
Why
in?
not open the door?
I think it was Hot Fuzz.
Really?
Oh, God.
I wanna say
You
it was
look-
Hot Fuzz, yeah.
Good. Good, actually. Are you okay? Are you? Don't answer that.
He just
How
has
much is on your phone?
impeccable,
There's plenty of time for you to recover. Just take it slow.
Please prepare for emergency
Can we
evacuation.
Atreides someone? I don't know what word you're trying to say there, Glenn. Can we Atreides someone?
Oh, you might want to hang on to something.
Glenn says all the audio is
Up to
good.
you.
Thank you so much,
Oh,
Glenn, for
sweet.
that. So obviously we went into stasis. We awoke from stasis, went into stasis again.
Hello?
You know, and we are still Shell, Even though in the first game, right away you can see yourself. In this game, you
Most
don't.
test subjects do
But
experience
we all
some
kind of know going into it. If you played the first one,
deterioration after a few months in
you're going in a
suspension.
shell.
Now you've been under for quite a lot longer, and it's not out of the question that you might have a very minor case of serious brain damage.
A very
But don't be
minor
alarmed,
case
all right?
of
Although
serious.
if you do feel alarmed, try to hold on to that feeling, because that is the proper reaction to being told that you've got brain damage. Do you understand what I'm saying at all? Does any of this make any sense? Just tell me. Just say yes. Okay, what you're doing there is jumping. You just jumped. But never mind. Say apple. Apple. Okay, you know what? That's close enough. Just hold tight.
You jumped.
All reactor core safeguards are now
It's funny.
non-functional.
That's a very like meta moment.
Yes.
You know.
I love that moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just like you
Okay,
press the
look,
button
I'm
and you
just gonna
jump and
mention
you think that
to you,
you're
I'm in
saying
pretty hot
apple, and it's
water
just
here.
so that's just amazing.
How you doing down there? You still holding on?
And like how you were talking about when we were playing Portal 1, like this intro, easily like one of the best intros. Because it sets the mood and the stage and
The stakes.
right away. And also like if you have played Portal 1,
Why should I be kept informed?
it makes
Yeah,
Portal
well,
1
that's
seem
bonuses of
so
the
much
10,000
smaller
bloody test subjects
instantly.
I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
in charge of.
And already we're getting a hint at the sense of the scale. But this is what I was talking to you about, how these are all the different cargo containers with all the other different people. So the thing we just woke up in, if you notice, for people who might not be familiar with this game, if you notice,
And whose fault do you think it's gonna
these
be
are all
when the
destroyed
management comes
other
round here and
ones.
finds 10,000
So they've been keeping Shell alive, but everyone else is seemingly gone and is no longer active, no longer gonna be awoken from
Okay, listen, we should get our story straight, alright? If anyone asks, and no
what's
one's
the
gonna
word?
ask, don't worry.
Cryogenic, I
If
guess?
anyone
Well, even though they
asks,
don't really get
tell
like
them
high
it's fine.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
not
sort of like that
cryogenic, but yeah.
stasis. It's
Yeah.
sort of like a deep
Everyone
sleep.
looks pretty much alive, alright? Not dead. Okay, almost there.
And
On the other
Wheatley's
side
trying
of
to
that wall,
say everyone's
there's the
alive when
testing
clearly,
Yeah.
clearly it's
Yeah,
not.
it's like that's a lie.
I
I just wanna make
think
sure I
this
told
is a
Caitlin that we
docking
were
station.
streaming.
Oh,
Get
okay, cool,
ready.
yeah. Ooh, you should text Shui and Kay also.
Good news, that is not a docking station. So there's one mystery solved. I'm going to attempt a manual override
love this
on
game
this
so
wall.
much.
Could get a bit technical. Hold
So it
on.
was really interesting. I saw the developer,
Almost there.
like a developer documentary a while back when they were talking about making Portal,
Not
and
bullet holes, but don't worry,
you
we'll
know,
figure it out. Seriously, do hold
the
on this
writers writing it, they thought that they thought what they were writing was pretty funny,
Yeah.
but when it came to recording it, they would have to
Now, I'll be
record a
honest,
lot
you
of
are
like
probably
filler stuff
in no
before they
fit
actually
state to run
hired
this particular
voice
type of
actors,
comms
right?
development. But,
And when they
at
would
least you're a good jumper.
have people
So
play
you've got that-
test,
got the jumping on your side.
they
Just
said,
do
you
your
know,
best and I'll meet
with
you
with
ahead.
you know, so with like Dave who works on the game and he's playing Wheatley, you know what I mean? Like they had like a filler in who was someone
Off you
who
go.
one of the developers. The jokes weren't landing with the testers and the people
Really?
playing it. Yeah, because the person delivering it
Right, wasn't
deli-
Stephen Merchant.
Yeah, exactly. So they were like, "Oh my god, like this game is not funny.
my
Like
God.
no one likes this game. Everyone's stone faced." And then when Stephen Merchant came
Right.
aboard,
Right.
the mood changed.
Yeah, of course, because he's one of the best voices in
Yeah.
comedy.
And again,
And here, this is really cool, I think. I love it when games do this. I love when games revisit, like, the previous game very quickly. This is the room you start
Yeah,
in
that's the
Portal
room you
1.
start
beyond our control.
There's a radio and
However,
everything.
Thanks
Yeah.
to emergency testing protocols, testing can continue.
What's up, Cannibal and Suchin? How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
So that science can still
We
be
are
done,
doing
even in
well.
the
We
event
are
of
doing well. Hope you
environmental,
are all
social,
doing well.
economic, or structural collapse.
Oh yeah, Glint. I don't think Glint's been introduced to you. This is Drunken Homemaker. This is my wife, Glint. This is my wife, Drunken Homemaker. We've been
I don't know if he's talking about me or Shell.
maybe maybe both.
I've
Maybe
never
both.
seen her before.
Maybe both.
You don't see her in this one.
Well, we see her
Oh,
right
there
now.
she is.
We see her right now.
There's
Yeah.
Shell. Yeah.
A little different. You know, she's got like just the white tank top, whereas in the first one she had the full orange jumpsuit.
Yes.
But everything else is pretty much the same. Hair, you could probably say the hair is a little bit longer, still wearing those boots.
And the jumpy jump boots, right?
The jumpy
Jumpy
jump
jumps.
boots.
That's the
The jumpy.
technical.
I think that's the technical
I think we
term.
should use the technical term.
Yeah, jumpy jump boots. But look how like you come in, and again, such a unique way to tackle, how do you make a sequel to a game where basically you were surrounded by just white walls all the time?
Right.
Have nature
Destroy it.
just overtake it. Yeah, and it's like, and it's so cool, I think,
It is
because
so cool.
right away it's
It's
like
Jurassic Park.
it is Jurassic Park.
In the, after it gets destroyed.
Yeah, it's in Jurassic World. Sachin says, first time I'm watching a Portal stream. Oh, that's so cool, Sachin.
I just hope we're not ruining. I don't want to ruin the game for him.
Well,
If he hasn't played it.
I
don't know if he's played
mean,
it.
I'm really against spoilers, but I also like after like a few years, I feel like you're kind of like,
You're like, all right, you should have
seen,
played it.
yeah. So, but I'm sure Sachin will still appreciate. I mean, I don't think we'll really like. Even when we played Portal 1, we didn't really like. We talked as it went along.
Yeah, we
you know
did.
what I
We didn't
mean?
spoil anything.
So, and I think this game, you really have to just sort of dissect what's in front of you. Even though we have played this, I've played this like probably 3 or 4 times. Did you do a second playthrough of this?
No, I did not. That's why I'm like really excited about it because it's been a while. It's been a while.
Have we seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom? We have not. We saw Jurassic World, right?
Yes.
But we have not seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I would like
Or
to see
wasn't
it.
there an in-betweener, or am I imagining?
No, it's this one.
It's just this one.
Yeah.
This is the one. They just released a trailer like a million years ago, so
Yeah.
that's why I was like,
They announced it
wasn't
pretty
there?
early.
Yeah.
You're simply experiencing a rare reaction.
I wanna
in which
see
the
it.
Material emancipation grill may have emancipated the ear tubes inside your head.
So I love, this is something we talked about in the first game, but in this game, it's throughout, where they have these pre-recorded voiceovers of how things are probably going wrong, and that's okay. It's supposed to kind of go wrong. You might be damaged through all these experiments.
Yeah, yeah. But they say it in a very roundabout way, where it's like we're using all these big words. Actually, do you remember? This is like, proof that we were super into Portal. I think it was either for your birthday or something like that. I got you a Portal water bottle.
Yes.
Where it basically had, it's essentially the scientific terminology for water. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
But no, it was the scientific terminology for a water bottle. Like, it was a very long-winded way of saying, this is a device to carry, and then hydrogen, and all that. Yeah, and so it was just really funny to me because I was like, yes, he would love this. And you had it actually for a while.
Yeah. So this is really cool, this puzzle. And again, like, I feel like the game teaches you a little bit how to play, but we get into the story much faster. After a few basic Portal puzzles. Is it alright if Glint calls you Mrs. BBG?
Okay,
You
sure.
could just call it Drunken Homemaker.
Yeah,
You
Drunken
could just call it
Homemaker is
Drunken
cool,
Homemaker.
or just,
Because, BBG is my brand. That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, I know. You don't want anybody to use it.
I'm going to have to start
He's
charging
gonna,
you.
He's gonna charge me for.
if you start using my brand.
Yeah, for tonight,
I've worked hard. I've worked hard for
I know,
BBG.
I know. I don't want to take it away from you.
I don't want to be called,
Because
Mr.
of
Drunken
technical
Homemaker.
difficulties we
Right,
are
right.
experiencing.
Yeah, Mr. Drunken.
No, I'm gonna
Homemaker.
require that if you ever do anything on my channel.
So Portal is about puzzles, right? Well, it is and it isn't. We played the first one last week, and the first one is very much about puzzles, but they sprinkle in enough of like sort of story and lore into it that keeps you like interested in the world around it.
Yeah.
And the puzzles were really good.
And actually, we should say you actually uploaded that
Yes.
playthrough.
Yeah, I uploaded that playthrough. If you want to check it out, if you want to check out when we played Portal 1, which was last week, I uploaded it to my Be Better Gamer proper channel, which you can find the link in my Twitch channel down below, where on the YouTube panel. And that one's primarily about like puzzle solving and portals and stuff like that. But there's a little bit of lore sprinkled in. Portal 2 is kind of, you still have a lot of puzzle solving. We're going to see a lot of puzzle solving, but from start to finish, there's a long narrative that goes throughout the game, and they really build the world that they sort of established in part 1, and they take it in directions that I feel like the first time we played it, we had no idea they were going to take it in those directions. and that's what kept us going forward. It wasn't really the portals and the puzzle solving. It was finding out what was going to happen next in the story, and I think that's what I love so much about this.
Sachin, you're asking for a very funny stream, because I am I'm just not. I feel like with that game I might be able to get the hang of it, but you're also like probably way better at that.
I mean,
stuff.
I've been playing it
You've
for
been
like
playing it for
18 years.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair,
Yeah, I'm not gonna go easy on you.
I'm not saying
I got a
no. I'm just saying it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be entertaining for everyone involved.
I got a reputation to protect. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go.
Can you see the portal gun?
This is funny.
Are you alive? Should have asked that first. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on the assumption that you're still alive, and I'm just going to wait for you up ahead. I'll wait 1 hour, then I'll come back, and assuming I can locate your dead body, I'll bury you. All right? Brilliant.
Just love
Go
him,
team.
like.
See you in an hour.
And this is like a moment where there's a lot of these moments sprinkled in where, you know, you don't want to rush through this game, because if you stick around long enough, more dialogue starts happening, and so it's almost like sort of like a reward for just like saying, I wonder if he's gonna say anything else, you know? I wonder if he's gonna say anything. I wonder. I mean, this game's so crazy. I don't know if anyone's ever tested it. I wonder if I stay for an hour if he actually does say something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Because that's something that I feel like this game does very well. It has all these little sort of like Easter eggs and things about it that you get rewarded from if you really just sort of take your time with this game.
Yeah.
Is it open world or linear? I would say it's linear. It's very linear. You basically go to room to room to room solving puzzles,
And then it just explodes.
but it gets the scale is really big. The scale is really big, much more so than part 1. But it's still a very linear game. So here, this is really cool. So this is kind of like, so this has to be the drawings from a character that was referenced in the first game that we never see. They actually made a comic called, they made a Portal comic, an official Portal comic that sort of bridges the gap between before Portal and in between Portal and Portal 2. And there's a character called Ratman, who was one of the people working at the facility right when GLaDOS lost control or gained control, however you want to say that. And here are some like more drawings. We saw some drawings in the first one, but this is like hieroglyphics level. This is like telling the story. Like, this is, you know, GLaDOS the machine. This is GLaDOS taking over, and that's you know, we see a human representation of that, which is right away sort of setting up where the story's kind of gonna go.
And don't worry, Glenn. You weren't. We know you weren't being rude. And if it's easier for you to call me Miss BBG, you can absolutely do that. It'll be a Glint exclusive.
It is shorter to type.
It is. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's actually a lot easier probably to type.
And then over here, this is Shell and the cake being offered, but as we all know, the cake is a lie. But look at the like,
Yeah,
the
pretty
artwork here. Look at the face.
Yeah. Oh, wow,
There.
So cool.
Very detailed. And then over here, Shell sort of being the savior,
Yeah.
and she's the
Oh, I
savior.
love that. That particular one is
The
my
picture,
favorite one.
yeah, that one's really cool.
I want that one, by the way.
Ooh, maybe I'm sure someone's made it.
Hint.
I
no,
mean-
they sell it.
Oh yeah.
It's like a thing, yeah.
And then look at this up here. This is a Look at this, babe. This is a what do you think this is? What does it look like to you?
A lunar calendar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
That's so
This
cool.
game. This game is so cool. So we can make our first portals here, and right away in this game. Oh wait, no, actually no. I thought they gave you both the option to make 2 portals in the beginning, but you still have to get the other one.
Nice.
Get the option. And now we're going through more destroyed facilities. But yeah, I remember when we first played this game, I didn't really know what to expect. You know, I didn't really know what to expect. I was like, is it just going to be more portals?
Right.
You know?
One copy of the laws of robotics to share.
But this is cool because it's like a different take. Like, right away, it's like, oh, I got to make portals so I can get through all of this chaos, which is exciting. I
Yeah. So this is like, this is like more exploration.
Right.
as opposed to like
I'm solving this puzzle.
I'm solving this puzzle. Yeah, you know. And I think that's what's really cool about it. I did get all the
If you
single
feel
player
that a lethal
achievements in this
military
one.
android has not respected your rights as detailed in the laws of robotics, please note it on your self-reporting form. A future Aperture Science Entitlement Associate will initiate the appropriate grievance filing paperwork.
You know, and if you know, at the end of Portal 1, GLaDOS, who is the person you hear in the voiceovers all the time, you know, we defeat her, so now we're hearing this just regular standard robot,
Right.
as the voiceover, you know.
Well, wasn't that always? Am I wrong? Wasn't that always
It was always GLaDOS.
GLaDOS?
It started with her, and she was the only voice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Can we explore in Portal like finding special items? No, actually, there's like no collectibles or anything like that in this game. You know,
This next test
your
is very
exploration,
dangerous.
you're rewarded
Do
your
not really
exploration
find
with
the
finding
base of
sort of
all
like,
certain
and we'll
that
find some
smooth
later on because I
jam
kind of know where a lot of them are.
in 3,
Um,
1.
The
so funny.
Yeah, the smooth jazz thing kills me.
But you're rewarded for sort of thinking out the box by finding some like little Easter eggs that, again, add to the lore and the story of the game, and even some references to like the Half-Life games are in here. But there's no collectibles or anything like that. And for every room you go into, every portal that you have to, every like puzzle you have to solve, there's not one way to do it. There's multiple different ways to do it. So, and I think that's what makes this game also kind of stand out. So here we gotta get Sachin wants to know, what is your favorite game? Do you have one? Do you have like a
Really
a favorite
good
game?
question.
Or, you know, some of your favorites.
I have a few. It's gonna be really hard to narrow it down. I really love one of the first games. I'll say the first game that popped into my head. The Fall.
Ooh, yeah, that's a
The
good
Fall was the first one that popped into my head. So I'll say that is at the top, is like one of the top ones. I love Limbo, obviously, Inside, Half-Life 2, you know, and I will love Half-Life 3 when it comes out.
Bioshock.
She said as she wept.
Related to your performance are
Bioshock.
Mario Kart
Please
64,
disregard any
right?
Yes. Oh my God. Why? Like, it's so random. I had you know, because you know I never owned a Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
Obviously. I had a friend who had that, you know, who owned that system, and who we played that game whenever we went to her house. And there was a point in time where we were. This is probably way after the Nintendo 64 came out too. They were doing something at my house, like they were like renovating my apartment. So me and my mom, my sister moved in with my friend, and so we like played Nintendo 64 always. That was like the thing, and this was like well into the 2000s. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we were a little bit behind, but yeah, I think those are. And then of course, okay, so the two main ones that popped into my head. This is gonna be so funny because people are gonna be like, "What?" To the Moon and The Fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good choices. I mean, To the Moon's one of my favorite games, obviously. You know that.
I know that.
I really enjoyed The Fall. I don't know if I would say The Fall is like one of my favorite games, but it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite adventure style games. And when I mean adventure, I mean like the old school like point and click kind of adventure games. Even though there wasn't a lot of
It's
pointing and
not
clicking,
bad.
but there was a lot of puzzle
Yeah, I see
solving.
what you're saying. Yeah,
There was a lot of like get this item, bring it back over here, and that's how a lot of those old. Those old LucasArts games that
You really like playing Nancy Drew, huh?
yeah, the Nancy Drew games.
My sister's super into Nancy Drew, so that's.
Fireballs, meteorites,
And if I had access to those games, I would totally play them, like hardcore. I would play Nancy.
Maybe when we get a new PC, we can play some.
Well, maybe if we get a new PC. That was so weird. Why did you say it like that?
Glenn says Portal reminds him of the Fallout games.
I can see that.
I mean,
And this one for sure.
this
yeah.
one definitely has a post-apocalyptic feeling, and you definitely get a sense of that. At least, maybe not with the entire world outside of Aperture, but definitely within Aperture has this very sort of post-apocalyptic, like things went wrong here. Things very clearly went wrong, obviously with GLaDOS, and we'll see more of that later on, of like how other things went wrong. And Sachin says Portal reminds me of the Half-Life. Well, you know, I mean, Sachin, if you know the history of Portal, you know, it was developed by Kim Swift and a few other developers from Valve, and they were using the Source engine, so it's definitely rooted in the Half-Life
and they're supposed to
engine.
exist in the same
and they
universe.
exist in the same universe.
The
Yeah.
Half-Life universe and Portal are supposed to be one and the same.
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense
Yeah.
that it reminds me of that.
You know, and that was something they kind of just added in. Again, the first game was just kind of like, we're just messing around with this engine. And that's something they just kind of added in to just, you know, because they're reusing all the assets and everything like that. So they were like, we'll put in a few little references.
And in Half-Life, there's also a reference.
And then in
to-
Half-Life 2, I think in episode 2, they confirmed that it's connected because, yeah, you see Aperture come up. So yeah, it's they're definitely connected, which is so cool. I love it when they do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And Owen, it is 9:20.
There we go.
It is 9:20 here.
9:20 on the dot. We're
Way
gonna
past my bedtime. No, I'm kidding. I don't go to sleep that early, but you know, in an hour I would usually be in bed.
Oh, did I get it in time?
Looks like it, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Look, this is really cool. So this, you gotta do that, and then when you do this, it stops it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So again, I've played this game many times, so you're not gonna really see me. Well, actually, you will see me get stumped on some puzzles. I don't remember the
The
puzzles.
Enrichment Center reminds you that although
but
circumstances may appear bleak,
when I get
you are
into
not
the
alone.
room, I'm sort of
All
reminded
Aperture
of what I have to
Science
do, if that
personality
makes
constructs
sense.
will remain functional in
But
a
I don't have
perfect
any of these
low-power
puzzles
environment.
memorized by
right.
heart.
No, that would be crazy.
Yeah. Have I completed the Ibushi call? I have not, Sachin. I have not. I was actually working on my Daniel Bryan call today. But yeah, I gotta finish up my Ibushi call, especially before the G1.
This next test applies the principles of momentum.
'cause he's my
to
pick.
the
He's my
movement
pick to win
through portals. If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
I just love stuff like that. Like, that's so funny.
You know,
I haven't played Fallout. Is Fallout this funny? Like, is it funny? Like, or is it?
there's
It's
funny-
more dark,
it's,
right?
It takes itself seriously, but there's
Okay,
a lot
that's what I
of
thought.
a lot of funny things in Fallout. Not just with the story, but just also like, you know how gamers are. They kind of like do funny things within it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Fallout is more of a little bit more of a serious tone.
Mm-hmm.
I would call Portal 2 like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
You know, like it does, like it deals with some heavy themes, which is, I think we talked about a few of them when we played the first one,
Yeah.
and even the first one, you know, like we said, doesn't have such a heavy story, but you can still infer a lot of the themes.
Yeah, it's good storytelling still.
Mm-hmm. And this game has a lot more darkness to it, I think.
Yes.
A lot more darkness to it, because you start to get a sense, and we'll see later on, but you start to get a sense of how messing with all this technology impacted the people working on it, the people affected by
you
it,
are a
you know,
non-employee
and it's
who
that
has
constant
discovered this
thing that always
facility amid the ruins
kind
of
of comes up.
civilization.
It's like,
Welcome. And remember,
you know,
testing is
and
the
even right
future,
there in that
and the
line, if the
future
law of
starts
physics
with
no longer
you.
applies in the future, may God help you.
Yeah.
That's always like the two forces that are always in the center of the debate, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're working at all this technology, and it's like, are we trying to be God?
Are we
You know what I
playing
mean?
God?
Are we
Yeah,
playing
that's
God
fine, yeah.
and stuff like that? And what happens if we go too far? And I feel like that is a very big theme in this game.
Right.
In a lot of games with that deals with like technology and science and movies as well, you know. So we're still working. So as you can see, I can only shoot portals on the white walls. I can't do it on any of the black walls. But I think it's purposeful in these rooms because they want you to get used to having to sort of figure out where you should be shooting your portals, and then later on they reinstate all the white walls. Hangman Page versus Fale is in the first day. Yeah, you're correct, Sachin. You're correct. Page and Fale. Ooh, I got disoriented there. I turned away after the jump, and when I turned back, I was like, wait, am I upside down?
Welcome to every time I play video games.
We have to get a VR system
No.
and play the Portal games.
I would die. I think I would die.
Did you ever see the videos of, not only do they have the VR headset, but you know, a lot of games they use the Move controllers for the PlayStation VR and
Yes,
stuff like that.
I saw that episode of Community.
No, but that's a real thing. The motion
I
thing.
know, but it's like I just can't take it seriously after that episode
After
of
that
Community.
episode, yeah. What was it? There. I pressed the file button or something like that. It was like something really simple.
I've set the time.
That's where VR is at right now. All right. Now, so we did that. We got the regular cube. These aren't the companion cubes. And I'm guessing we gotta get over there where the glass is. All right. So yeah, so see, remember when I said like sometimes I walk into the rooms and I'm reminded of what I have to do? This is definitely one of those rooms where I'm not reminded what I have to do. So I'm definitely gonna have to figure this out in real time, like I was playing it the first time. But you know, I always complain about my forgetful memory, but it's actually very useful for replaying video games.
You're like a baby awed by the world every day.
Yeah. Exactly.
You're like a small child experiencing the world
Especially
for the first time.
It's like, oh, look at this! Look at these rooms and these portals. I wonder if I shoot a portal here. Even though I've gotten all the achievements to this game. Well, I've gotten all the single player achievements, I should say. I still got to do all the co-op achievements. And you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I still got to do all the co-op achievements. But I also got all the single achievements on the Steam version as well because I just love this game so much.
Have we ever played Portal with the girls? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hi. Oh, hi, Caitlin. So she says, I know you guys play a lot of games with your kids. I'm wearing my contacts, so if I look like I'm blind, it's because I kind of
and I have perfect vision
Shut
because I got surgery done.
I know you guys play a lot of games with your kids. Do they ever play Portal with them, or do you ever play Portal with? No, okay.
Have we ever played Portal with them,
or is it too advanced?
That question was a little too advanced for you, apparently.
I can't see anything.
Ooh, I messed up there. I think Bella has seen us play Portal, but
I don't think it's too advanced for her.
No, I don't think it's too advanced.
She
at
could
all.
definitely watch you play. I think definitely she would need help kind of getting through the puzzles. The oldest. The youngest, I think it's definitely... Well, I don't know, because she's really good with the controller. Like, she's got that. She's...
They play Minecraft, so they can definitely move around in the 3D
exactly,
space.
yeah. Unlike their mom.
But I think the puzzle solving... It'd be interesting, actually, to see Bella try to play Portal.
Right? That's a good...
Because I don't
idea.
think Bella plays a lot of puzzle games to begin with. So that would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah, because she gets frustrated and she gives up.
Yeah, she gets frustrated.
She's like, I hate this.
Play Portal VR, please. It'll be super fun.
Super funny is what he meant, and he's right. It would be super funny because I would barf.
To ensure that sufficient
I mean, VR scares me, to be perfectly honest. There's a part of me, the part of me that has that morbid curiosity of I would love to play a scary video game in VR, but I know that I would pass out or have a heart attack, and
So, here's Wheatley. Wheatley's back.
Wheatley.
Oh, brilliant! You did find a portal gun. Oh, do you know what? It just goes to show, people with brain damage are the real heroes in the end, aren't they? At the end of the day, brave.
Oh my goodness.
Pop a portal on that wall behind me there, and I'll meet you on the other side of the room.
Oh, Wheatley.
Wheatley. So
Technically, there is a boss fight
Just pop a
in
right
Portal.
behind me there.
I won't
Come on through to
spoil
the
what
other
it
side.
is, but technically there is a boss fight.
Oh, I know there's scary games in VR.
yeah.
That's why I want to do it. But I'm also there's that. It's just like this morbid curiosity of I may die doing this. but I want to do it. Yeah.
Do you think, since we're on the topic, we're going to be on the
Okay,
topic
listen,
of
let me
technology a lot,
lay some on here, it's pretty heavy.
and the future of technology, and
They
VR is
told
definitely
me
one of those things we've
never,
always seen in
never,
movies,
ever
and
to
now we're
disengage
finally really
myself
getting
from
to
my
it.
management rail.
Oh my
or I
god,
would
I love
die.
this part. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm interrupting you because
We're
I
out of
love this part.
options here, so get ready to catch me. All right, on the off chance that I'm not dead the moment I pop off this
Stephen
thing.
Merchant, ladies and gentlemen.
On 3. Ready?
Should I catch him?
1,
Yes, catch him.
Okay.
2, 3. That's high. It's too high. Is it really that? All right, going on 3 just gives you too much time to think about it. Let's go on 1 this time. Okay, ready? 1. Catch me, catch me.
Oh, I tried to catch him.
I am not dead. I'm not dead. Plug me into that stick on the wall over there, yeah? And I'll show you something. You'll be impressed by this.
Wheatley is he really steals the
Go on,
show.
just jam me in over there.
See, it's moments like these, if you just stay and you just don't do anything.
They just keep talking.
They
They're
just keep talking.
They're gonna,
Right on that
you know.
stick over there. Just put me right on it.
And it's just something about his inflection that.
Yeah, I can't do it if you're watching. Seriously, I'm not joking. Could you just turn around for a second?
And I have to say, the way that they animated Wheatley, even the way he moves when he talks,
Yes.
is so funny.
They must have watched a lot of
Can't do it if you're
Pixar.
I can't do it if you're watching. I love
He
it.
really can't.
Bam! Secret panel. Got open while your back was turned. Pick me up. Let's get out of here. And off we go.
I love
Look at this.
what I love about
No
this
rail
part.
to tell us where to go. Oh, this is brilliant. We can go wherever we want. Just hold on though. Where are we going? Seriously. Hang on. Let me just get my bearings.
I love how when
Just
when
follow my
he jumps off originally, he's like, "Oh, I didn't die. That's great." But then as the game progresses, he's like, "Hey, I didn't die, and they told me I would. That's
Yeah.
messed up."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like he's not intelligent enough to realize it right away. It's like he's so happy about "Oh, I didn't die. That was fun." And then it's like he gets more and more upset
Yeah.
that they lied to him.
Well, because he doesn't have. I think what it is that he doesn't have the logic core or whatever.
yeah.
Yes. Hello. No, we're not stopping. Don't make eye contact. Whatever you do. No. Very good. Appreciate it. Keep moving. Keep moving.
Just love how funny he is.
Huh?
Don't
does,
make
who does the voice of the turrets?
Is it the same person who does GLaDOS?
Yeah.
I thought it would
Yeah.
be, yeah. It's like a different voice, but
Mhm.
it's the same. You can hear it's the same voice, but it's a different
Yeah.
intonation.
You should play Resident Evil 7 on VR. It's so scary.
I know. I know it would be.
Ooh, such as says Silent Hill games were best horror games during PS2 era. Silent Hill is a game you really like.
Silent Hill.
Speed on some
I mentioned it
point.
actually in the
In order
last
to escape,
stream.
we're gonna have to
It's gonna be
go
so
through her
distracting
chamber, and
to
she
talk
will
while
probably
Wheatley's
kill us
talking because I just
if
want to
she's
listen to
found
Stephen
our way.
Merchant's
You want
jokes.
to just call it quits, and we could just sit here forever.
I
That's an
love it.
option. Option A.
Well, we
sit here,
could
do nothing.
listen to his
Option B,
stuff.
Go through
I
there,
know, I
and
just-
if she's alive,
It's
she'll
perfectly
only
fine
serve
because
Okay.
So,
he doesn't
if
talk
you've got
about
any
the whole
reservations
game.
He doesn't.
whatsoever about this plan, now would be a tremendous time to voice them. Right now.
So it's also funny because he's talking about
It's
GLaDOS.
the
Yeah.
window of time to voice my reservations. Still open.
And it's funny how he's an AI, but he's scared of another AI.
Yeah, which is that just goes to show you how terrifying GLaDOS is.
But just again, going back to you said, the concept of these AIs developing emotions sort of through just the act of existing.
Okay, I'm gonna name the cards. on
You
the
know,
table.
they're not
I don't
supposed to
wanna
have
do-
these
I don't wanna
emotions,
go in
but
there.
because
Don't
they
go in there.
exist,
She's
they end
off,
up
she's
do.
off. Don't panic over it. She's
So,
off. Oh my God.
to answer Glint's former comment, yes, absolutely. If I play scary games on VR, I would fear that I would die. I would fear I would have a heart attack and just die.
I mean,
of
there's been
fear.
scary movies you've seen where you couldn't fall asleep.
I didn't sleep for what was it?
Scary YouTube stuff that you. that you
No,
could
that's
watch.
not true. I haven't
Wasn't
seen.
there a few YouTube stories that you saw sometimes, or what is it, creepypastas or something?
I can't listen to. I can't. I can read creepypastas. I'm okay with reading them, but I have to be careful what I read because no creepypastas because I listen to the creepy podcast. So I can listen to
There
creepypastas.
she is. What a nasty piece of work she was, honestly. Like a proper maniac. Do you know who ended up,
Proper
do you know who
maniac.
ended up taking her down in the end? You're not going to believe this. A human. I know. I wouldn't have believed either. Apparently this human escaped and nobody's seen him since. There was a
Him.
sort of long chunk of time
Interesting,
where absolutely nothing happened. and then there's us escaping now. So that's pretty much the whole story. You're up to speed. Don't touch it.
So
He's
it's
just like the
funny. It's
perfect-
funny how Wheatley doesn't know that he's being held by
the
person
person,
who
yeah.
defeated GLaDOS. That's
Yeah.
very. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And no one's seen him since.
and no one's seen him since.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's so interesting.
I think that's very purposeful writing.
Oh, absolutely. So, and to answer Sachin's question,
Have
wait,
you watched
we're
have you watched the Rocky movie series? No, you've never seen any of the Rockies, right? I remember.
Adrian.
I remember I was trying to get you to watch the first one back in the day, but we never watched it.
I feel like I have seen one
downstairs.
like back in the day. The one with the German.
Actually, look at it. That is quite. That's
Oh,
quite
the
distant, isn't it?
German? You mean the Russian?
Okay, you know what?
I'm sorry, I always forget that. I always forget.
Dolph Lundgren?
That's how long it's been, guys.
There's no braces on your
That's how
arms,
long it's
so
been.
you have to
That was
rely on
Rocky
the
4.
human
You saw
strength
Rocky
to keep
4,
your grip
really?
on
I
the
feel
device.
like, yes.
Wow, you
Like,
skipped
There,
like
there was like
all
a
the good ones.
needle because he's taking steroids.
Yeah,
it was like really.
steroids. Russia,
yeah.
they take steroids.
Russia,
and
they-
we don't, because we're Americans. Like, yeah, shut up. Yes, you
Okay,
do.
everybody
Like-
takes steroids here. Okay.
That could split
My kid
melon
takes steroids for her
from this
asthma. Like everyone, we're all on roids.
So do definitely focus.
Yeah,
on
so
landing
I haven't
with
seen
yours.
very.
I've seen all the Rocky movies. Well, except
I'm more of
for,
a diehard
Still being held.
person.
You did-
I haven't
that's a
seen
great job.
Creed,
You've applied the grit,
and I
you're
know
all
that's
fine.
technically a
That's
Rocky movie.
tremendous.
I haven't seen Creed, and I want to still. So there, Wheatley again was nervous about dying because of the jumping. Is there a reason the AI guy is British?
Because okay,
Because they wanted Stephen Merchant.
they wanted Stephen Merchant.
That was their first choice.
Stephen Merchant is one of the funniest. I don't think that we would. This game would be as memorable if anyone else was playing this character.
I think what it was is that they were fans
That's-
of the British office. A lot of the developers working on this game were fans of British humor, and when they
also, I want to be like, did RuPaul tell you to say that? like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right?
That was like the first thing that I thought of.
And I think what it was, if I remember correctly, I might be remembering this wrong, but I think when they were writing the Wheatley character,
So
the
funny.
writer was just sort of finding that voice, you know, and it's just sort of like, we need to have a British actor to do it. I mean, generally in video games, there's a lot of British actors and characters.
Let's be real. That accent is amazing, and even when it's coming from like this nerdy guy, like it just sounds good. It just
Yeah.
sounds pleasing to the ear, and
I've just done it again.
you can tell RuPaul I said that.
It's also like let's be real, like Valve,
is the
they're
main
pretentious,
breaker.
so to them they probably think British humor is the best kind of humor.
because they're right.
So, but you know what I mean? It's just like they
they're
could have
pretentious or right.
they
I
could have
don't.
gotten like standard American dialect,
Sounds
but
like your wife is pretentious too.
Look for a switch that says
This is
escape
funny.
pod. All right, don't touch anything else. Not interested in anything else. Don't touch anything
With
else.
all these switches.
Don't even look at anything else.
Don't even look at
Honestly,
anything
Look
else.
at everything else to find the escape pod. But as soon as you look at something and it doesn't say escape pod, look at something else. Look at the next thing. All right, but don't touch anything else or look at. Well, look at other things.
Yeah,
But
this
don't.
is like a
You
master
understand?
class in comedy.
Can you see it anywhere? I can't see it anywhere. Tell you what, plug me in and I'll turn the lights on.
all these switches. Why are there all these
Let there be
switches?
light. That's God. Just quoting God. Turning. Ominous. But probably fine, as long as it doesn't start, moving up.
Ominous.
Now. Escape pod, escape pod.
This is supposed to be
It's
like
moving
a
up.
rocket launcher?
Okay, no, don't
Yeah,
worry,
looks
don't
like
worry,
it.
I've got it. This should slow it down. No, makes it go faster.
It should slow it down.
Here we
Power
go.
up initiated.
Oh, his part is so good,
Alright,
guys.
stop panicking. I can still stop this.
Now there she is.
Oh, there's a pass. Okay, it's fine. I'll just hack. Not a problem.
He's trying to hack it by starting
Trying to-
with A's. He's gonna go through the whole alphabet, all the different combinations.
Wait, did I do B? Do you have a pen? Start writing these down.
Power up.
Start writing these down.
Okay, listen. Alright, new pen.
I'm like listening to it.
It's brilliant. It really is.
It's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been?
And her voice too is so iconic.
After you murdered me.
You did what? Ah. Oh no! No!
a staple of Valve, you know, where they have like in-game cutscenes.
Okay, look, we both said a lot
I
of
love it.
things that you're going to regret. But I think we can put our differences behind us. For science, you monster.
For science. You monster. I forgot
I
about
will
that
say, though, that since you went to all the trouble of waking me up, you must really, really love to test. I love it too. There's just one small thing we need to take care of first.
Yeah.
So good.
This would make a great movie. This would make a great movie.
So,
Can I eat 73 grapes in 4 minutes? I've never tried, so I probably think I could.
you can do it. I believe in you.
73 is not a lot. In 4 minutes? It's plenty of time. Plenty of time. Hulk Hogan was in one of the Rocky movies.
Yes.
He was Thunderlips.
There's some really
There's a
good.
Rocky 3.
I'm listening to. I'm reading what Sachin is writing, and there's a really funny.
Here we are.
In
The
do you remember
incinerator room.
the
Be
Christopher
careful
Guest
not to trip
movie,
over any parts of me that
Which one?
didn't get completely burned when you
Waiting
threw them
for-
down here.
Guffman?
Waiting for Guffman, where he's like, yeah, I'm doing a role where I'm working with I'm directing My Fair Lady, where they have a Cockney accent, and they kind of drop their R's, so they would say something like, "Hello, how are you?" You remember that?
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
That made me like just
Yeah.
giggle because I just remembered that.
They do drop their R's.
There it is.
What's up, Tut Tut 2007? How you doing? Welcome to the stream.
The same year that the first game came out.
That's right. Tut Tut was born in the same year that Portal came out.
Yeah, not Portal 2.
Portal 1, that's right. So Tut Tut, you are as old as Portal 1, and we are playing Portal 2. So welcome to the stream, Tut Tut.
And actually, I wanted to make sure that we talked about it in this stream because we talked about it in the last one. We were playing the first part of this game, or I should say the first game. That we had this idea to do a YouTube series where we do video game casting.
Video game
call.
casting call.
So basically, and actually, you've already started work on this, which is exciting.
A little bit, yeah.
Where you've come up with a cast list and everything. So the idea is that we take a video game that we love, that we think should be turned into
a movie,
a
feature film,
and we cast it. And we pick a director and all that good stuff. And we don't tell each other, right?
Nope, we're not going to tell each other. We're going to work in separate.
Yeah.
And keep our picks separate, and then we're going to reveal our picks real time while we record it and
Yes.
talk over our choices and sort of go over why we chose who we chose. And the first one we're going to do is the Portal series.
Yes. That's the first one we're going to do. So, just let you know. Get hype. Get hype.
And here, it's good that we're playing the game too because we get a lot of story stuff that I feel like helps with kind of casting this. So, and right here, GLaDOS, remember how we were talking about? So, Portal 1 takes place, at least it seems like it takes place somewhere in the 80s. And this, she just revealed that she's been waiting around 60 years. So, she just calculated right now 60 years. So, that puts us in 2040? Wow, so that puts us 2040. So, yeah, so again, it does make you wonder, what is the state of the world? Because here's something I kind of wonder, like, how big was Aperture in this world? Were they like a Google, or like, were they like a big company? I mean, obviously they had some sort of presence with the military, developing for the military, because we see that here in those videos.
Right.
They're definitely making stuff, or they were making stuff before it all went, crazy. So did people forget about Aperture? The people that were in the know, you know what I mean? Like, or did some of this technology that they were working on actually get out? That's something I always wonder on, and I feel like you could always do like a big spin-off sort of. I always said, it's funny you mentioned Half-Life 3. I always said if they ever did Half-Life 3, you have to have the portal gun in it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would just be so cool. Tut says, I watched your video last night. Oh, which video? Which video, Tut? Did you watch the Portal video that we did?
Or the
I
one
might
that you.
take up a
Which one was
hobby.
the other one
Reanimating the
that you
dead,
just
maybe.
uploaded? On your.
Oh,
on
for
the
Virtual
website?
Pro Wrestling 2? Oh, okay, yeah, my Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. Such and says he tried Limbo, played it for some time, and puzzles were so difficult that I quit. I'm thinking about playing again. Such and you gotta play it
Yeah, play it
again.
It's worth it.
You gotta play it again. Limbo is fantastic. One of our favorite games.
That was like the game that broke our oldest daughter's brain.
yeah.
Like and the thing is she couldn't play it because I think she was too scared at certain points, or she kept getting stuck, right?
She kept getting stuck. So she wanted me to tell her the ending. And I was like, well, I can't really tell you the ending.
To be fair, she's 9.
She's 9.
So, you know, it's a little. It is. You can understand a 9-year-old.
And she's like, what's the ending? And I was like, well, it's not. It's like an interpretive ending. It's like an open-ended ending. Oh, what does that mean? What happens at the end? It's like, you just gotta have to get there. But she couldn't get through a certain part. So she watched a playthrough of it on YouTube. Because she didn't want to finish the game. So she watched a playthrough on YouTube. And then she got to the ending. And yeah, her mind was just like,
her mind exploded.
What? What was that? Like...
And which like Inside does the same thing
Inside
at the
does
end.
the same
Actually,
thing.
Inside was the one that
Inside
broke
did
your
that
brain.
to me. Inside did that to me.
Where, you know, about it was so funny. She came out after watching it. And she was crying, and she's like, I don't understand what happened, because she knew that it was very powerful.
Yeah.
But she couldn't, like, put it into words.
couldn't process it.
She couldn't process it, and the same thing happened to you. You came out, you were crying.
And it was also, yeah, but it was also the kind of thing where it just like clued me in. It's like at that age, like, yeah, like what is an interpretive ending to a 9-year-old?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They only know like what works and what doesn't work, you know?
Exactly.
So that was really also fascinating to see, I think. But I highly don't give up on Limbo. It's really good. We'll probably we did plan on doing a let's play of our own for it. So that's still, you know, to come in the future.
So if you like very, like, you know, wordy and very, you know, like dissecting,
much like how we did with Inside.
Inside, yeah. Like if you dig that style, that's kind of our spiel. We really, I feel like it comes from being people who are creative, people who are artists. We appreciate art. And video games probably weren't always considered art, but now they are.
I think they evolved into an art form.
Exactly, they evolved into it. You know, before,
Tetris wasn't art.
No.
Mario Brothers 1 wasn't art.
It's creative, but it's not necessarily. You can't say it's art. Or you could, you know.
You could now in the context of like how art has evolved, because art is always evolving. You know, we're in post modernism. Such and says he recently watched some Koji Kanemoto matches. Those matches were great. Favorite match was Kanemoto versus Minoru in the junior tournament. Yeah, you know, Sachin, like, I always admired Kanemoto's ability, but he was never one of my favorites. But I totally know what you're talking about. He was good in the ring. He was good in the ring.
And don't forget, Tut Tut said, "Eee."
Is he cosplaying as one of the robots? So we finally get to actually jump. You know, and I wonder, like, we've been jumping a little bit in the game, and here they give us the little thing to jump, and I wonder if that was sort of like to mock how the game started.
Yeah, exactly. I just love that intro.
Look, there's Wheatley. So Wheatley's alive.
Right.
There he is.
I love that they do that because I remember just being so upset when she crushed him.
Yeah, you didn't
I was
like that.
Oh my god, he's like my favorite character. So.
And it was also the kind of thing. It was like, wait, that's all they got Stephen Merchant for? Like,
yeah. Oh, for sure, right? Like, I was just like, no. And then when he came back, I was like, oh my god, thank God.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because that sort of, I wouldn't say reverses, but you definitely get to a point where you're like, oh wow, you know?
I think it's very purposeful. They make him charming and sort of, they make him this unassuming character in the beginning, and you know, we won't spoil it, but.
It's a fun journey.
It's very purposeful, and it's really cool how they do it.
Yeah.
And I think it also just adds layers to the story and the rest of the game. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh, you know what I was gonna say about the VR thing? Because you know, Portal, we were talking about like why make these things, like the whole Ice 9, going back to Ice 9. Why make a portal gun? Why make, you know, boots?
Is that reference for Caitlin? Because Caitlin's here.
Yeah. Why make these things? Like, you know, sometimes I feel like we always kind of like, why, you know, some things in technology is like, why does this exist? You know, like, are we flying too close to the sun? Are we trying to play God? But it's the kind of thing with VR, you know, people bring up VR, and I do think that is sort of the future of gaming, only because it's sort of been sort of predicted already in sci-fi lore that we are going to be trying to get to where we can sort of create new physical spaces around us and get lost in these worlds. You know, Ready Player One was a big hit that just came out. But do you think that, because in VR, in a lot of like post-apocalyptic stories in VR, eventually we get to a point where not only can we exist in this fake game world, but what happens there can actually have an effect on us in our real life. So like if we're playing a VR video game, now
and we get killed,
everything's fine. But in the future, do you think we'll actually reach a point where we can die because
not
we've
like
died?
this.
Yeah.
Not like this.
Do you think that could happen?
A slim forward.
You think we'll get there?
I absolutely think so, because I think that it will become so real. Like already, people are like putting on the VR thing and being like, "It's too real," and they just pass out.
And they pass out.
Right.
Yeah, their brain can't handle it.
It's. I think it's already starting to go in that direction. And funny story, I grew up in a very, very religious household, and we watched like a lot of like super like the Christian movies, right?
Yeah.
And there was actually a movie that we watched where it was like the apocalypse like was happening, like the end of days was happening, and like VR was a big part of it. Which I'm like, I kind of want to watch this movie with you and make you sit through it, because it's really funny, because like the whole idea is like you can go into this alternate dimension, and that's how kind of like the devil gets you know,
Yeah.
like kind of deal.
One of those, yeah.
So it's really interesting, but even like it's a fear of the unknown, but also like I do think that we'll not get to that reality, obviously, but I do think that VR has the potential to do amazing things. But you know, technology is often, you know, like how can we make money off of this, and how can we exploit this, you know?
Yeah.
And how can we exploit, you know, people wanting this as a product, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And how, and the other thing that we're seeing now, I'm reading The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and I highly recommend that book. But what we're seeing is developers, people who, you know, the people who develop Facebook, Google, all that, they're developing apps, games to be addictive.
Yes.
They're not developing them so that you can have like this wonderful time and do this artistic thing. There are a lot of these, you know, especially like the ones that you can download onto your phone and stuff like that. They want you to keep coming back, and they have it down to a science.
Oh yeah.
And that's the part, the wanting to profit part, I think kind of is what makes the technology bad. It's not that technology is bad, it's the fact that people want to exploit it.
Yeah.
And at any cost, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, with a game like Portal, like, you know, what were the benefits of this? Because you know, we're wearing these like legs, these boots that can basically keep you alive from any fall.
Yeah.
So it's like, is this meant so that like people who maybe have jobs where they're working on a high up skyscraper, they never have to worry about dying, or is this being sold to the military? Right. You know, like what are the purposes of these devices? Why are these devices being made? If VR doesn't kill us, AI will.
Listen, you should have. Okay, you gotta go to Be Better Gamers, Be Better Gamer proper, and watch our last stream. We had the most elaborate. Yeah. No, not inside. The last time we streamed this one, the Portal. We had a long conversation about AI.
We could sort of rehash that.
We had a long...
What were some of the big talking points about...
We talked about AI in, like, every movie, remember?
That's right, yeah.
And then we talked about how, you know, especially, like, Elon Musk being like, AI is a scary thing, y'all.
We should be worried... Elon Musk is like, we should be worried about AI.
Yeah, yeah.
And Elon Musk, he's a pretty smart guy. Well, you know, Glint says he comes back. He said there's a Scooby-Doo game he mentioned for the N64 that he wants me and Kedem to play.
Nice.
And Zelda Wind Waker is also great art of gaming. I agree. The art style and animation.
Beautiful.
And
you know, before we go into the Pandora's box that is talking about AI.
AI killing us? Yeah.
Because it's going to happen, guys.
It's a matter
of... I think that AI will kill us, but virtual reality will be how we become sort of...
How we can fight it?
No. No, like...
Look,
will make us submissive. Does that make sense? Is what keeps us sort of distracted. So
like in The Matrix.
Yes, and like in the Nether. Okay, that's a play. Sorry.
So look here. Remember
But it's a
we
good
were talking about how Portal's not really an open world game, but it definitely rewards you for breaking away from the path. Here's another one of the Ratman's rooms. So here we see Vilified. It looks like a mouth and an eye and hands. The Ratman was a very abstract artist, apparently. Don't even try. Feels like a trivial. And then Sucker's Luck, Exile. Too many variables. Look at that drawing. Look at him and his face. And then he was probably studying something and then went mad. That's what
Thank you for breaking down this.
I mean, that's what I kind of like interpret. Look, and then we see how he actually was able to survive. Look, all the beans. They throw that in there. Nice little touch.
This is art. Look at the art.
This is art. Yeah.
This is art.
Appreciate it. I mean, yeah, maybe the game was sort of training us for this moment, right?
Right. Look at the art.
And these radios, and again, there's also something too with the radios, like a little Easter egg where if you carry the radios around to certain points, you hear certain frequencies and things like that. Ratman is a monster myth in GTA 5. Oh, that's interesting.
It's funny.
If I like linear games more than open world games because of storytelling in linear games. That's true, Sachin. It's a lot.
I kind of have to agree with
It's
that.
a lot easier to tell a really good, strong story in a linear game. And yeah, probably some of my favorite stories in video games come from linear games.
But like, you know, that there are games like Red Dead
Redemption has a really good story, and that's
and
open
then
world.
you know Zelda, and you know they can still tell that story, but I think
it's a lot harder.
They tell a story, but it you have less control over like how fast we're getting there, you know, because you know you want to go catch chickens or
you want to go fishing and get the biggest fish, so
yeah,
you get
exactly.
extra hearts,
or you want to you know go do a side mission that like isn't really crucial to the story, but you know you just have some time to kill. Right?
You know, it's funny you bring that up because actually Gabe Newell and J.J. Abrams, who's supposed to be working on getting a Portal movie and a Half-Life movie together, still.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, when he's done making Star Wars and every other thing. Oh, I also saw something today. He's producing a TV show from Stephen King called, oh man, what was it called? But it's based in the Shawshank Redemption universe.
Why didn't you call me right away? Didn't you like you didn't you know drop whatever you were holding, your mug, and then call me
and of course
immediately?
J.J. Abrams is involved with it. But J.J. Abrams actually had a GDC talk with Gabe Newell. They like sat down and had like their own little discussion, sort of like how we're doing. We're kind of like Gabe Newell.
Oh, we're exactly like that.
And J.J. Abrams, you know. We're just as rich,
just as
powerful. They were showing scenes from like his movies, the Star Trek movies, and scenes from Half-Life. And they show that one scene in Half-Life where they're supposed to be explaining to you the portal, and you know you're watching Alex and the dad and the other scientist, and then like the person controlling it goes around, grabs a trash can, starts knocking everything over while they're talking and stuff like that. And like because he was doing it as sort of an illustration of that, like J.J. Abrams was like, you know, it's very hard to control, even in a linear game, it's very hard to control what the player is going to do, and sometimes they might miss in crucial story beats that you want them to get.
Right.
And you know, so that was what he was talking about. He's like, with a movie, you know, they're kind of stuck there watching the screen. And with a video game, like even with linear games, they're still going to be stuck there, but they have all the power. Yeah. And so sometimes they can miss that. So I thought that was like a really interesting point, because I think that is the struggle when you have a linear game and you want to tell a compelling narrative. That's kind of the struggle. It's like, how do you make sure the player is sort of going down the path
Not on the
you
test.
want them to go?
Most people emerge from
You know?
suspension.
And you know, even with Portal 2, I remember I was watching again the GDC talk where they would watch people play it, and they're like watching them like, oh, they're doing that, huh? They're doing that. Like you're kind of like, oh, I didn't think they were gonna do that. I didn't think they were gonna do that, because when you design a game, you're trying to design it to sort of guide people where to go, but you don't want to like pull them by the hand. You want them to sort of figure it out.
Yes.
And
And it's a balance.
Yeah. And I feel like this game is masterful at that.
Yes.
I think this game does just enough to always tell you where you should be going, but doesn't force you in that direction. Doesn't say blatantly, go here, look over here, you know. In the beginning, obviously, because they're trying to train you to do some of the puzzles, but later on, it's just like you do whatever you have to. Even right now, I kind of have the freedom. You know, the game's not rushing me. The game's not telling me finish this faster. You know, hurry up.
Yeah.
And I like that. So there's freedom in linear games, even.
Do you want to hear a random fun fact?
Sure.
Random fun fact about J.J. Abrams.
Okay.
So J.J. Abrams was known for a little popular TV show called Felicity. Do you remember Felicity?
Yeah, I remember Felicity.
He both was responsible for the lyrics of the song that was the theme song for Felicity,
Oh, yeah?
and he sang it.
No way.
Thank you. I just found that out today and it blew my mind.
That's funny.
Google it.
He sang
It's
the
real.
lyrics.
He sang it.
I don't even remember the song, actually.
It's like, new version of you. That? Yeah.
Such as says, God of War had a great story because it was linear. Red Dead had myth and monsters as well. I did like that. I like when they added the myth and monsters to Red Dead and Assassin's Creed. Only good story open-telling world games, in my opinion, says Sachin, are Witcher 3, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Red Dead Redemption, and some GTA games. Those are all good choices, Sachin. I haven't played Witcher 3. I do like Zelda's Breath of the Wild story. Probably my favorite Zelda story. I love Red Dead. And yeah, the GTA ones, they're solid. Imagine a pro wrestling VR game. Oh man, I mean, like we said with VR, like they're gonna eventually try to be able to do everything in a VR world. So I wouldn't be surprised if combat sports. I mean, we already have the VR games where you can fight, you know, hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
But that's another thing too. Do you think that with VR, because yeah, with VR right now, what's throwing a lot of people's senses off is sort of, you know, when they're flying a plane and they look down and they no longer see the ground because they're supposed to be in a cockpit, you know, stuff like that. But do you think we will reach a point where, like, yeah, I'm playing a VR game and then a character grabs me and I feel like I'm being grabbed?
Ugh. I'm sure we will. I just don't want to think about it. It makes me upset.
And, you know, because of another aspect of VR that they're trying, you know, the intimate VR, we shall say, you gotta believe they might even want to try to do that because of stuff like that.
When you said intimate VR, my face just did that automatically.
But, you know, it's the kind of thing, it's just like, you know, we see that in movies too, like, you know, the AI, the person falling in love with the AI, you know, and things like that, and it's like, it's funny how I feel like with humans we're always trying to...
Sorry. You're talking about that one Le Cassette song.
My favorite retro wave song, yeah.
Jose is obsessed with this song. That's really it's great. Okay, I've listened to it enough times that I'm like, it's
wins
too
you over
much,
eventually.
but it does win you over eventually. It's about a guy falling in love with AI, and it's so 80s, but it's a new song. But yeah, every time he talks about it, I'm like, you're just talking about that one song though.
Here you go. This is what I gotta do.
I gotta go powder my nose.
Okay, yeah. You gonna take a little quick break? I can hold it down.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold down the fort.
Don't lose control of the chat,
Oh no, I won't. You can watch movies in VR. You can watch movies in VR. That's pretty cool, I think. I think watching movies in VR is, you know, it really does mess with the senses a little bit, and it does sort of maybe bring you in a little bit. What will be really interesting is if, like, they somehow are able to create movies where, like, if you turn around, you're really in the world. You know what I mean? Does Mrs. BBG have a favorite wrestling theme song? I don't think she does, Glenn. I don't think she does. She doesn't watch a whole lot of wrestling. So I don't think she has a favorite wrestling theme song. But here we go. We're playing with the lasers. We haven't really stumbled upon any of the new stuff they added, and that's, you know, but that's what's sort of deceiving about this game. I remember the first time playing it, I thought this game was gonna kind of be short like the first one. So I remember the first time playing it and going through these parts where I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Oh, I messed up there. Now I know what I have to do. Now I know what I have to do. Let me reset. Let me reset the cube. And this is what I have to do. Alright, I have to do this. Ooh, I almost just killed myself. That would have been tragic. Hold on. Let me do this. 2 portals next to each other. Alright, so we need a puzzle. We need one here. Right? And we're gonna go back over there. So like I said before, like I don't remember these puzzles by heart. I sort of have to be reminded as I play. And then what did we want? We wanted that there. No, I messed up. I shot the wrong portal. Let me see, can I squeeze in? No. Alright, let me reset. So orange is there, so we won't change orange. We won't change orange. Let's remember that. We're gonna change blue. Woo! Alright, we did it. We got through it. Puzzle games are tough to stream. Puzzle games are tough to stream because, like, you're trying to think and talk at the same time. And, that's always a tricky task. But here we go. This is what we had to do. We had to get on it so we can ride it. We don't want to get hit by the laser because the laser kills us.
I guess you are listening to me. But for the record, you don't have to go that slowly.
And even with GLaDOS's dialogue, she's basically telling you, like, there's no rush. You can solve these puzzles however you want. And I love how the game does that. I love how the game blends the dialogue that sounds natural coming from GLaDOS, but it's also the game talking to you, the player, as much as it is talking to the character you're playing as. And I think that's another thing that this game does really well with the writing. You know, the writing is able to find that balance of this is the developers talking to us because we're still playing a game, but this is also the characters talking to each other. And you start to feel more of that connection with GLaDOS.
This next test involves the Aperture Science Aerial Faith Plate.
I love it's called the Faith Plate.
To investigate how well test subjects could solve problems
she's so shady.
when they were catapulted into
Here you go.
space.
She's rebuilding.
Results were highly
I really like how they did
They
that.
could
How
not.
she rebuilds
Good luck.
the panels. This is really cool. This is one of my favorite new things in Portal 2. This wasn't in
Yes.
Portal 1, the Faith Plate.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And then you can just go. And again, since we're wearing those special boots, it doesn't
Your legs don't, you know,
buckle, yeah.
well, break.
Break.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
true, yeah. There you go. Up. And then, so we gotta time it. And my timing was perfect.
I think I'm better than everyone.
Here you go. There we go. Much better that time. But I missed the landing.
Nailed it.
Ah, there goes my no death run. Ah, my no death run.
You know, at least it came like later than it did last time.
That's true. Yeah. Portal was released in 2011.
Portal was released in 2007.
That's right. I keep confusing
Portal
it.
2 was
Yes.
released in 2011. Wow, I became that person. I should wear my glasses. Actually.
Well, actually, Portal. Yeah, Portal. Yeah, DrunkenHomemaker's right. I confused the
This
dates.
next test involves the Aperture Science.
Because it's kind of like what we were talking about when we played Portal 1. When I think about Portal, I'm really thinking about Portal 2. Like Portal
Yeah,
2
that's
for
fair.
me is
That's fair.
the game that I feel like really represents. Even though there's only 2 games, you can still technically call it like a series, a franchise, whatever. And I feel like Portal 2 is where it's at. You know,
Yeah.
Portal 2 is the bigger game, the more narrative-heavy game.
It's too
It's just
expensive to pump
so much more
inside
advanced
out.
than the first
We
one.
just take carbon dioxide out of a room, freshen it up a little, and pump it back in. So you'll be breathing the same room full of air for the rest of your life. I thought that was interesting.
She does little fun facts like me. Except hers are less fun.
And it was funny because the voice of GLaDOS is always this voice, but if we remember when we played Portal 1, that voice doesn't show up until the end. When she is...
Yes.
When the core...
That was really
The
cool.
next test
Yeah.
is, advanced aerial faith plates. Well, have fun soaring through the air without a care in the world. I have to go to the wing that was made entirely of glass and pick up 15 acres of broken glass. By myself.
I love it.
Uh,
She's so salty in this game too. It's so great. I just love how they do this.
Sachin says Portal was released in 2007. He thinks it was ahead of its time. Oh, it was definitely ahead of its time. It influenced the whole genre of games, of first-person puzzling and adventure games. Again, that was, you know, and I feel like the dialogue and the voice acting is a lot stronger in this one because there's a lot more going on. But still, even in Portal 1, the voice of GLaDOS was so iconic because it did have good voice acting, and that's when really the voice acting, I mean, it had already been around in games for a while, and some games were doing it. I mean, obviously we talked about Metal Gear Solid, you know, the voice acting in that was doing it way back in the day on the PlayStation, but it was really around that time, the 2007, 2008, even 2006, where I feel like the writing in video games started elevating. And Portal was definitely one of them because it was so funny. Here we go, the Faith Plate. Okay, so here, I believe, yeah, there's a secret here. I'm gonna show you all.
Y'all.
I'm gonna show you
There's a secret.
a little secret. So what they want you to do is go to the other side of the room, right? But we are going to actually, oh wait, this is how we do this. We are actually going to go into a hidden room. And I think you get an achievement for finding this room. I don't remember. But check this out. Hopefully I did it right.
I'm gonna die again. Whoa! Bro!
This is like a very out of the way Ratman room. Look at
Very
this.
cool. Look at this.
Smooth jazz fails.
I love it. This game is just so funny.
Glenn says, "If you can you drink a bottle of water in 1.75 seconds? Is that the world record? I could probably beat it. Sorry if you guys already discussed this. KMDO Sanj wants to know, but any high-level feminist themes in Portal? I think it's interesting that so many AI voices are female because they're mostly just personal assistants these days, but GLaDOS is different." Oh, totally. I mean, and we talked about this when we played Portal 1.
Yeah.
The entire cast was female, and back then, they didn't really make a whole big deal about it because it wasn't being celebrated like how it is now.
Right.
And that's 11 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm gonna mention it again just in case, but we did actually post this the first playthrough of Portal, which is really cool. And actually, there's this beautiful moment at the end of the game. You just mentioned it, where what was it? What was the core that was destroyed?
The shoot, what was the name of
There's
it?
a core that's
like the restraining something like that.
like the restraint or the some
compliance, the compliance core.
Is that what it is?
I think it
Okay.
was. I think it was the compliance core.
When you destroy that core, she becomes unhinged and her voice changes and everything. So yeah, we did this. We went into some discussion about it. I was very good and I didn't get too preachy about it. But I definitely, to me, the fact that the protagonist is female is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
I think there's something to be said about, like you said, the assistants being always female.
Female voices. Yeah. Hey Siri.
Yeah.
Hey Alexa.
Yeah.
It's never like, hey Greg.
Hey Bob.
Hey Bob.
Because I guess the expectation is you're like, hey Bob, can you look this up? No, do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
Bob would be like, do it yourself.
You don't have to test with
but
the garbage. It's garbage. Press the button again.
but don't touch the garbage. It's garbage. Yeah, we did talk about it briefly, but I do think that there is. I just love video games that play with that. Actually, the big game that I mentioned before, The Fall. It deals with all, and I think I actually mentioned that to you, Caitlin, before. It's like, I think you should play this game. I think you would love it.
I think this game deals with a lot more feminist themes than the first one, because again, the first Portal the story's there, but it's sprinkled in because it wasn't meant to be a game to have this like
But
huge
the fact
story.
that it was a female
But
developer.
the fact that the female developer, and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna make the protagonist female.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make the antagonist female. You know, and it's like
it just goes to show you what happens when people are given the opportunity to tell a story
However they want.
from a perspective that we don't see commonly, right? In video games, in movies and stuff like that. So the fact that she was a female developer, and she was like, I'm gonna write a story for women. Not necessarily for women, but about women.
And that's the thing. It wasn't even like
she wasn't trying to. I think she was trying to say something, but at the same time, she wasn't being preachy about it. Instead, she just focused on the story, and the story was so good that it really did, work.
She let the game be so good that you didn't really have to think about like, oh, the protagonist and antagonist are
and
women.
that's the way it should be.
And that's the way it should be. And and it's like, but I feel like this game, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it, and I kind of don't want to like spoil it fully, in case for people who haven't played it. But the journey
Sorry, I'm
that
just listening to what she's saying.
yeah,
Which would have made this apology seem insane. That's why I had to call you garbage a second time just now.
I love it.
the journey of GLaDOS, the backstory of GLaDOS, we sort of find out in this game. The
Yes.
journey of Shell, what we find out about how Aperture was run, has, I feel like, a lot of feminist themes and
Oh, for
about
sure.
women, not just women empowerment, but like women in the workplace, women in science.
Yes,
Um,
because this goes back all the way to
70s, I think
60s.
60s maybe. Yeah.
I want to say that this Aperture goes back all the way then. So you see like that Mad Men era. That Mad Men era. Did you hear that? Today I was teaching a class and I said balance, and I was like, and I just like stopped and
Western
looked.
New York.
Yeah. Oh my God! I stopped and I looked at one of the women sitting in the front of the class, and she was like, "Yeah, that was weird." It's like, I'm sorry, I just said balance. But
Did
yeah,
I accidentally fizzled out before you could complete the test?
She killed the companion cube.
Go ahead and grab another one.
and there's a whole bit in the first one where she, and talking about female themes, right? It has a little heart on it, a little pink heart.
I fizzled that one too. Oh well. I have warehouses full of the things. Absolutely worthless. I'm happy to get rid of them.
And then actually, if
This
if
is
you
the
didn't play the
companion
first
cube.
one,
There's Wheatley.
there he is. If you didn't play the first one, but also even if you did play the first one, you get a companion cube. You only get one companion cube, right?
In the first game, yeah.
In the first
and
game.
the companion cube is basically the same cubes we were getting earlier, but it has
But
a
it
heart.
just has a heart on it. But it really
Became
does.
a
It's a very
symbol.
powerful thing where it's like you decide that this thing is, and she actually really makes you think, you got to protect this thing.
Yeah, she sets it
You
up
gotta
that you
keep
have
it
to protect
safe,
it.
and then you have to dispose of it at the end, right? So it's a very like psychological kind of torture type thing, and the fact that she's doing it again in this game, but to a bigger extent. Before it was like, this is for science. Now it's like,
She's trying to do it to mess with me.
yeah,
Because
she's-
she knows I have an attachment to the companion cube.
And I will do a plug for the video that Game Theory does on the companion cubes. If you
There's a
believe
theory
that
about the
theory,
companion cubes.
this is really messed up.
Yeah.
What she's doing is actually pretty horrific. But go and watch the Game Theory Portal companion cube video.
Portal has not been released on the Switch. That'd be really cool if Valve released this game on the Switch. I think that'd be awesome if they do like a new port. Tyler Lawson, what's up, Tyler Lawson? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. BBG, if you like Disney movies, there will be a live action Dumbo. Yep, there will be. They're doing live action of all their films. I don't know how I feel about that. Some of them look cool, but then it's like, but you're doing all of them?
Yeah. I feel like, stop.
Such and says his favorite female protagonists in video games are Lara Croft, and Samus Tomb Raider is one of his favorite game series. Oh, okay, that's awesome, Suchin. I did play the Tomb Raider reboots, and I had issues with them as video games. It's something we talked about earlier a little bit with Portal. I don't feel like Portal is ever holding my hand. When I walk into a room such as this one, which I'm kind of trying to remember, okay, how do I solve this? How do I approach this? The game gives me the time to work it out on my own. I was playing Rise of the Tomb Raider, and even Tomb Raider 1, and it's like, you walk into an area, and then right away Lara starts talking. Oh, I wonder if that rope over there could be of help. And it's like, let me figure it out.
Let me get
figure it
there.
out.
Let me get there, Lara.
And then they have the ability where I forgot if it was like Y or select or something.
And it was like if you were standing there for like a second. Do you remember
Yeah.
that? It was like
As
you
soon
just
as you
entered the room. I wonder if that rope over
Yeah,
there.
it's like,
I'm
what
supposed
rope? What? I haven't seen the
I
rope
wonder
yet.
if I'm supposed to climb it. If it will lead somewhere.
And
it's like, yes, Lara, I get it.
And then also like when you have like that ability, that sense that basically anything that you need to interact with is like yellow, and it's like I hate it when games do that. I hate it when games try to hold my hand and tell me where I should be going, what I should be doing. Let me figure it out.
Is it because she's a woman? No, I'm kidding. You're like, don't woman-splain it to me.
No, don't lady question.
Don't lady question.
No, don't mansplain it. Don't
Let me
lady
get
question.
there.
We're going deep tracks right now. Oh, we getting deep,
We're
Tyler.
getting pretty deep.
Oh wait, no, that's not Tyler.
That's
that's
Kay. That's Kay.
Kay. I am not speaking to her.
And then Tilton said, yo, yo, yo.
What do we need to
What
be
up?
worrying about spoilers in this stream?
You might, yeah.
Hashtag blessed.
So we're not giving any spoilers, but we are in fact playing
I mean,
the game. So
if
if you
this is-
just focus, actually, this is what I do sometimes when Jose goes on and on about wrestling. Sometimes I just focus in on his beautiful face.
There you go. There it is.
And I go to my happy place and I don't even pay attention to anything he says or, and I just focus on his beautiful face, and that usually, that works for me.
That's true.
That's only in
That
hour
works-
3 though. I
that-
listened to him for the first 2 hours.
That works for me also. I stare at my own face after a while.
You stare at your own face?
Yeah. But I mean,
that was a gimme.
this game came out in 2011. So, and thank you, Kay and Tilton, for joining. This game came out in 2011. So, I mean, if you haven't played it, well, actually, I did buy it for
You bought
Tilton.
it for them. That's why I was like, don't.
that's
Just look at his
true.
beautiful face. Look how beautiful.
Just
he is.
close your eyes and imagine the
and
game.
think of England.
Imagine the game. Kay could watch it though. Kay could watch it. Should I get my Sudoku book ready? Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the game that flexes the frontal lobe. What is it?
Yes, the frontal lobe.
There you go. There it is. See, I got it.
This is such a good game.
And like I mentioned earlier,
We were just. I don't know if you guys missed the conversation about. Caitlin asked a question about basically feminist themes and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. So we were deep diving.
oh, and this like we talked about earlier. We did Portal 1 last week, and Portal 1 is a short game. We did it in the whole stream, which was about 3.5 hours.
So if you ever get stuck while you guys are doing the playthrough, just go to that almost 4 hour long playthrough we did.
So Portal 1 is not a long game. I would even say first time playthrough is not that long. I wouldn't say the puzzles are too intense. Even I remember the first time playing it, I think I probably beat it in one sitting.
Also, I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but ever since spoilers became a thing, it's
Every
like
test
I
chamber is equipped with
I
an
got so
emancipation
upset
globe
about
detector,
spoilers
so that test
when it came to
subjects
specific
cannot smuggle
things that I was watching, like
subjects
Breaking
out
Bad
of
was
the
spoiled
test
for
area.
me and stuff
This
like
one is
that.
version of Don't
And
take
so
anything with you.
my brain does this thing now when I accidentally read a spoiler, my brain just kind of immediately zaps that thing and I forget it. And I don't know how this happened one day, but I literally I will read a spoiler and I go, no, I didn't read that, and I literally forget it right
Oh,
away.
that's a good mutant power.
I had to develop it. Necessity, man. It's out of necessity.
We're evolving.
We're evolving.
We're evolving.
The way that I evolve is by deleting information that I don't want to hear.
I kind of created how when you sort of do a magic eye and everything blends together. So if I'm scrolling on Twitter,
You're just
if I'm
are you doing the eye that you do where you're like,
yeah, when I scroll on Twitter, I'm going through feeds. I can sort of tell without reading the words yet that someone's gonna be talking about something.
Right.
So I'll scroll by it really quickly.
Yes.
And then if it's an image, oh, this person showed up in Game of Thrones, or this person died in Game of Thrones, or whatever. My mind automatically blurs it.
yeah,
I automatically go soft lens focus, and I don't
lens focus.
and I don't watch it.
That's hilarious. But yeah, so you could if you do that for this stream, I'm also purposefully talking while GLaDOS talks so that Kay and Chewie make sure we don't hear.
But but this is a game that I feel like you play it once, yes, the portals are cool, and this is sort of the problem with replaying puzzle games, and I think this is why this game stands out so much, is that this game makes you want to replay it because of the story, because of the
Two
characters.
specifically. So it's not a matter of, you know, like there's certain things like what's the thing that I tell people, like, listen, get through the first season. Just get through the first season.
Get through the first season,
right.
And it picks up in season 2. Yeah.
I do think that Portal is an experience, and there's a lot of lore there that keeps you engaged. But Portal 2 is
where it's
just just goes so much deeper.
And I still tell, and I still it does, and we'll see that. Probably not tonight though, because this game is like 3 times longer than Portal 1.
Yeah. We were able to finish Portal 1 in one sitting.
And this is not going to be a one sitting game.
No.
And I remember us playing it too, where there are areas in the game where it's like, all right, we're getting to the end. And then something happens, and it keeps on. It's like, okay, and this is the end now.
Yeah.
Nope. Keeps on. Okay, this has to be the end. Nope. It keeps on.
Yeah.
And I love that about this game.
I love that too. It's like when you can go back and play a whole game like Luigi, you know?
What are you talking about?
It's like you get through the whole game, and then you're like, oh, now you can play through as Luigi.
Yeah, here we go. Now
and then he has a whole other set of, you know, he can jump
moves.
like this.
He can jump higher a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit higher. And then you're just like, this is like a whole new game.
Now you can race all the tracks in reverse.
That's technically what happens, you know. You could say it's the same thing.
Yeah, sort of.
It's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. It figures out a very creative way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say you don't really have to worry too much about the spoilers, because I think part of playing the game is experiencing the story. So whether you're experiencing it firsthand or watching someone playing it, and there are a lot of heavy themes like feminist themes about technology and stuff like that. But it's also like, I wouldn't say too open-ended, but it's not as black and white as it seems. It makes you think. And you want to go back.
GLaDOS is a fully fleshed out character.
Mm-hmm.
Wheatley is a fully fleshed out character. I would say the only one that we don't fully get to explore, which is interesting because she's a silent protagonist, is Shell.
Yeah.
But there's story there.
But
nonetheless.
but there's still story there, and you could even say that's very purposeful because they want you to be Shell.
Yes.
You know, and this is something we also talked about last stream, sort of about like the you know, the whole silent protagonist and how that's
does it hurt you or does it help you,
and how that's something that works really strongly in video games, and it does work in other forms like film, but we don't see it as much as we used to.
Yes.
But in video games, it's still very much a thing. We still very much have the silent protagonist. Now we don't even have. I mean, there are still games where they're making you play as certain characters, but a lot of the times now you create what that character looks like. You create what race they are, if they're human, alien. Right. You know, now they're really moving away. They really want the player to assume the identity,
right? Yeah.
even if they have
oh my gosh,
voice or dialogue.
I always like.
What's my favorite Assassin's Creed game? I saw Sachin and Glint talking about Assassin's Creed, and I didn't say anything because I actually haven't played a lot of Assassin's Creed games. I only played Assassin's Creed 2, and I wasn't honestly crazy about it. Although the new Assassin's Creed one, the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I'm kind of interested in that only because I'm really into Greek mythology. So that might be fun to try to play. Kay says, my mutant power is I shed my skin and turn to diamond. So she's basically White Queen from X-Men.
Yours is only slightly better than mine.
Look.
I love it. Guys, cover your ears.
There. Try it now.
Oh, this is...
What happened, right? I was just lying there.
This tape must not be calibrated to sound.
just the timing on it.
It's so good. It's just so good. I love it.
Sachin wants to know what we think about old mullet hairstyles for some reason.
Old timey ones, like like in the 1920s or like
80s mullet probably. Are you calling me old? I'm from the 80s. I don't know. I feel like you can rock any hairstyle if it suits you,
as long as it doesn't ruin your job prospects.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna have trouble finding a job, like if you have a job where they're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, sure, rock the mullet.
Grow a mullet. Or, you know, dye your hair red. Whatever it is, you know, then yeah, go for it. But, you know, as long as you're not impeding your ability to make money, I would say go for it.
I feel like as long as you can make it work for yourself, you know, because there's some people, you know, they probably wouldn't look good in a mullet. But then there's some people...
I would look terrible in a mullet, personally.
There's some people who probably can rock a mullet and you don't even notice it. It's like...
That's the proof right there. He got really quiet. He didn't want to talk about it. He was like, you would...
I don't want to envision you in a mullet. That's what it is.
That's fair.
I don't want to see... I don't want to get that image
you don't
in my
get
brain.
You don't want to get it burned in your eyeballs.
So we got little things that happen.
But just because he doesn't like a mullet on me doesn't mean that he doesn't like mullets.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It looks good on a lot of people.
Yeah, some people can rock it.
So just not I.
Just not I. Not I. No, wait, we don't want to go there. Did you like my British accent?
That was awful.
You have a really good British accent. You should be doing some accent.
I would
work.
love to be able to do. I need to find someone to just pay me to just talk all day. That's what I need. And talk.
Well, that's
funny,
what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing now. That's true.
Glenn says he's trying to grow a mullet. My mutant power will be like Wolverine with heat vision. Ooh, okay. So like Wolverine, but with heat vision. It's pretty.
Okay,
are we talking
about superpowers?
Sachin says silent protagonist, favorite silent character. He says he likes silent protagonists. His favorite silent character is Link, classic. Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair's had mullets. Can you do an Indian accent? Sachin is from India, so that's probably why he wants to know. So he's gonna be judging you.
Okay,
don't mess it up.
So here's the thing. So India has a lot of different dialects.
She came prepared.
Yeah, India has a lot of different dialects, right? So there, you have the folks that speak with the more of the British twang, if you will. Also, and I'm sure Be Better Gamers mentioned this. I'm really into Bollywood movies.
Oh, so, yeah. I think I told Sachin
you might have mentioned it. Yeah. So to answer your question, I think I can. But
if you work
I would need to work on it. Yeah, I'd feel like I don't know if I want to.
Because I don't think I've ever heard
whip it out tonight.
I don't think I've ever heard you attempt a Indian dialect.
No, I don't think I ever.
Yeah.
I ever have, but I think I could.
Glenn does voice impressions. He does a bunch of Scooby-Doo stuff.
Oh, that's right.
He's made a video about it where he's done some cartoon characters. It's pretty cool.
Yes, I do like Bollywood. But I like to be fair, like I've only watched like a few things, but like from back in the day. So like Kuch Kuch and Gabi Gushi Gabi Gum. So I have watched, and those are like, I mean, me and my sister will sit there and we will watch the heck out of those. And
we watched one with the girls.
We watched oh my god, I think it was Gabi Gushi. We watched Gabi Gushi with the girls. And oh my god, it was so funny because they just enjoyed it so much, because I feel like Bollywood, a lot of it is like almost like trying to do an impression of what's cool in Western culture for a lot of it. Not everything, because a lot of it also they have their own style of movie making and it's amazing and I love it. But it's really funny because we watched Kuch Kuch, and I just remember being like, oh man, like in that movie, it's like Speedos are super cool, you know, like
it was very 90s.
It was very 90s, but like that's what I love about it. Yeah. It's like it's fun, you know.
It knows it's a movie. I feel like sometimes movies, you know, especially American films, they take themselves too seriously. And you can have a movie that doesn't take itself seriously, but still deal with like serious subjects. And you can have, because there was moments in that movies where it got really sad, it got really intense. They
do all of it. They get really silly.
Yeah, they go through all the emotions.
It really is. It's just it's fun. I think it's really fun. And me and my sister, oh my gosh, we really will just watch the heck out of those movies and really enjoy ourselves. So yeah, I think it's fun. But yeah.
Sachin says he actually prefers Hollywood over Bollywood.
Hollywood over Bollywood. You prefer Hollywood. Okay, that's
And then he also asked you who your favorite Bollywood actor is, and he thinks that Shah Rukh Khan is probably your favorite actor. Is he right? Points on the board for Sachin if he's right.
Okay,
I'm
let me
going to
hold
go to
on.
the surface.
I just want to make sure
It's a
I'm saying the right
beautiful
thing.
day out. Yesterday I saw a deer.
Such says he prefers Hollywood because Hollywood has logic in movies. Ooh, shots fired to Bollywood.
And I'll tell you about the
Wow,
time-
Sachin, you're burning Bollywood right now. Yeah, that would be a hell yeah
From
from
Khan.
yeah. I'm totally. What was the guy who was in? He was in Gabi Gushi that played his brother. That's like the one that like he's supposed to be like the Indian Sylvester Stallone, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's the most beautiful man, and I'm like, no, his brother is the most beautiful. Like Shah Rukh Khan is yeah, he's my favorite. Yeah, agreed. And also you called it, so 10 points to Griffin Puff.
So the rooms are getting much bigger, which is really cool.
Could you tell? Could you tell because of Be Better Gamer? Because
Steam?
Because you look just like Shah Rukh.
Do we have a lot in common?
I have a type.
Yeah, right.
Apparently.
I mean, I really love Speedos.
you love wearing your Speedos.
Clint says there's a movie with wrestlers versus monsters. I don't know. Of course there is.
There is.
There's a movie for everything.
There's Sharknado. I believe that there's a movie
There's
about
a movie for
wrestlers
everything.
versus monsters.
You know, but see, that's are we flying too close to the sun?
You're so stupid.
It's just like technology. It's just like the themes. Like why just stop? Like why just stop making movies about important stuff? Let's just make a movie about a shark and a tornado. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Did we go too far?
So I know Portal is sci-fi, but it doesn't really deal with too much. I mean, actually, no. In this game, we do deal with some outer space elements. Right? There's a lot of outer space elements we deal with in this game. And we watched Arrival recently, and something I always think about.
Yes, we talked about watching Arrival.
We talked about it.
We watched it.
We watched Arrival.
More
Really
on
good.
that later.
But what I always think about whenever I'm consuming great art, whenever I'm playing a great video game, watching a great movie, I always think about, because I believe aliens exist. I believe on life on other planets and
That's it.
other
you just
universes.
Lost a bunch of people. People are like unfollowing.
But I always think it's like, do they have art? What does their art look like? The creatures that we saw in Arrival. What's their art?
Right. I know. Oh my god, that's a lot. That's a lot to process.
What do they enjoy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because here we are. Look how far video games have come. Just look at the jump from Portal to Portal 2, the jump from Mario Brothers to Super Mario Odyssey, technology, the fact that we're streaming and doing all this stuff. Do other life forms, other cultures, societies, do they advance in that way? Do they have their different parts of their planet where they have their Hollywood and their Bollywood? You know what I mean? Because we have that. We have Hollywood, Bollywood. Does a planet in a different sector have something like that? Where it's like, these are our type of movies, and those people who live on that part of the planet, they have their type of movies, and
ours are better.
Yeah, and I actually like theirs because it has more logic in them. And it's like, I wonder that, what is their art? And then on top of that, to really blow your mind, so imagine
no, you can't.
So we're playing Portal 2, we're playing video games. Is there another society that they have video games? Do they have a video game that's just like Portal 2? Do they have a video game that? Do they have no video games that are like Portal 2?
They're like, and the alien society that you're talking about is like, no, we don't have a game like Portals because Portals are an outdated technology. That's what I imagine.
Portals?
Aliens.
What is
aliens
this?
are listening to your stream and they're like, why would we have a game about Portals? That's a very outdated technology.
Are we back in the year 3000s again? What's going on? Portals? Come on.
So 90s.
Yeah, so 90s. Portals.
All right. So we have to go back to Arrival.
Yes. No spoilers.
No
Hashtag blessed.
You're the worst. We loved it.
Oh, so good.
We made a mistake of doing a double feature that day. which was a huge mistake. Which actually, I forgot to tell you, Caitlin and Gopal watched The Little Prince the same day that we watched it.
Oh, did they?
The same day. Yeah, it was super weird.
We saw The Little Prince and Arrival the same day.
Because our kids, so we're, we try to be good parents. We're tired all the time, and we don't have a lot of time to watch movies. And, so we were like, yeah, so we'll do movie night tonight. And so the little one heard that and was like, oh, we're doing movie night? And so I was like, yeah.
I guess I'm invited.
Yeah,
like,
so we were
I guess
like,
you are.
I guess we can watch a movie that's kid-friendly and then do Arrival, which was a giant mistake because I went to sleep with this enormous headache of just, like, trying to process. First of all, Little Prince is pretty heavy, too.
Little Prince is good.
Yeah, Little Prince is great. And then watching Arrival destroyed me. I talked to Caitlin a little bit about it because I was just like, and I was like, Caitlin, I want to tell you to watch this movie, and then she was like, I've seen it, it's amazing. So it was so good.
So good.
And it was one of those things that I went to sleep with this massive headache, and then woke up the next morning and was like, still like and I went to you and I was like, did you think about the fact that they did this and this and this? And he's like, yeah, but did you think about this? And I'm like, oh my god, I didn't think about that. So it is such a good movie.
It's a movie that deserves a rewatch. I would love. We barely have time to watch movies, so
but I want to rewatch.
To even think about rewatching a movie is tough. But I would love to rewatch.
I would love to rewatch.
I mean, we're finally. When did we first play Portal 2? How many years ago? We're finally doing a replay of it.
I know.
So eventually,
we'll get to it.
I have faith. Eventually, we'll do a rewatch of Arrival because we're finally replaying Portal 2.
Yeah.
And and that's the beauty about rewatching stuff, because something that has an impact on you, you think about it, and then when you also like go back and revisit it, you still discover things that you didn't think about. And even now with Portal 2, like already in the beginning, we've noticed some things.
Yeah.
But also, like, I feel like I wish I had the time to. I used to do this a lot when I was younger. I used to rewatch things annually because I felt like as more time passed, I looked at it in a different context. And even Portal, when we were playing Portal, the whole idea about feminist themes in video games, female protagonists, like, this was something that we weren't consciously thinking about, unfortunately, back in 2007, but now we're always looking at that. We're always thinking about that. And to play that game today, after I've playing it, that jumps out. Whereas when we first played it, it jumped out at us, but probably jumps out even more now.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Portal 2. It's like you realize, like, oh, they were so ahead of the curve, So that's why I love revisiting stuff down the line.
The storytelling in Arrival, though, like, first of all, you have to believe the amount of research that went into creating this fake alien language had to be absurd, because they did it so well. Mm-hmm. And the way that they explained it, like, was just so on point that you were like, I get this. I am not a scientist. I am not a linguist. Yeah. This is ridiculous. So I think that was great. Jeremy Renner was formidable.
He was all right.
I was mentioning to WWE No Mercy fan.
Yeah.
Because he was like, yeah, he's not that great. Because I was hating hard. He was formidable. He was not.
They could have. I
was like, was everybody else busy? Why does everybody keep hiring Jeremy? First of all, he's good at playing a soldier. Okay. We have to believe him as a scientist now? Sure. Okay. I don't believe it, but I thought he was formidable. Moving on.
Kay wants to know. Kay is asking the people in the chat. Raise your hand if you think BBG could totally do animation and video game voice acting. And then Kay says, all right, I'll go first. Raise his hand. Do a live stream of your rewatch Arrival with reaction content. Here for it.
Where we just, I love stuff when there's like a twist in something, when there's a twist in a movie or in a show, and then going back to the beginning and watching and be like, oh, the clues,
and just noticing
the clues were there.
From the first frame.
I love stuff like that.
It's actually funny that you bring that up, Kay, because we were talking about that when we were playing Portal. I believe the whole concept of like, that's sort of like the next direction. No, I'm talking about like watching people watch movies. Mm-hmm. That's like the next direction for Twitch, I feel like. Because it's already happening.
Yes, we did talk about
We got
that.
Bob Ross on Twitch. We got Doctor Who on Twitch.
Yes.
And it's sort of the kind of thing, it's like, all right, everyone, you guys have been recommending me to watch Arrival. I'm going to watch it for the first time. And then just sitting there.
I feel like that has the ability to, like, drive me insane. Because I hate it when people, like...
You can't look at the chat.
And no,
Can't look at
well, it's not even that. It's like sometimes I can't because I sometimes with certain people.
Here you go, another rat man.
I feel like a lot of people are very extra, and so it's like, you know, okay, I'm playing this game. Whoa, this just happened, right? Just with video games. And they, you know, you can tell that they're not taking in the game, and they're just reacting. So I feel like I would almost hate to watch people watch a movie and like do it for performance. You know what I mean?
Watch a movie for people,
right? Like, and also like, you know, because we have the joke, you know, because Caitlin's here, I have to mention it, and because Gurpal actually said that to me one time when we were watching a movie. I asked him one question, and he turned around and he says, "Watch the movie,
watch
Maria."
The movie. Oh yeah.
So we have this running gag because Be Better Gamer's mom has a tendency when you're watching a movie with her, she'll ask questions about the movie, and you're just like, this is my first time watching it, like I don't know the answer to these questions. So we came up with this thing where my oldest daughter started doing that too, and started asking questions during movies, much like, you know, her grandma. And so we would say, "Watch the movie, Maria," because that's his mom's name. So that's like a running gag where it's like, so I also feel like it's one of those things where I feel like people would be watching a movie and being like, "Ooh, who's this? Why are they going there? What are they doing?" And I'd be like, "Watch the movie."
People do that, but people do that in general. It's like, and I guess some people get a kick out of that.
I know.
I don't.
It drives me crazy. I'm just like, take it in. I'd rather, like, it's almost like when you're watching, it's like the level of like, you're watching your favorite movie with your friend who has never seen it, and you've seen it so many times, and you're almost like,
you want to see how they react to it. It's, you know, it's like the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones, or you know, moments
how people do their reactions.
But I sort of feel the same way though with Twitch and video games. Like, I have no problem playing Portal 2 because I've played it already, even though I can't remember any of the puzzles. But I've experienced it already, so I've already had that moment to myself and with you where we took it in.
And that's why we did that with Inside. And we played through it because we didn't want to do like just our first impressions, right? We wanted to give you a more polished, like, this is what I thought about it.
Because I feel like a lot of the time when you're playing something, you're experiencing it, so a lot of it is like, ooh, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Whereas here we can be like, so the feminist themes that I've noticed,
exactly.
you know, like,
exactly.
you know,
we can talk about it.
We can actually talk about it, and so that's why I like the concept of maybe rewatching movies with people and sort of doing your own, even though you're not a director and you didn't do anything for the movie, but your own sort of like commentary of
your own person watching it commentary.
Yeah,
or that's like, going to be on the DVD.
Or like watching a movie you saw as a kid. That you remember being amazing as a kid, and then watching it when you get older.
I want to do that.
And rewatching it. Such as says, BBG, do you like Japanese video games more or Western video games? I actually like Japanese video games more. I skew a little bit more towards Japanese video games.
Too, easily.
Because I appreciate the culture more. With Japanese games, they really do try to infuse their culture more into the games. With Western games, you know, they try to make the games their own world, but there's no real culture represented from a lot of the times when those games are from. But also in terms of design, Japanese games are harder. Japanese games...
You're a glutton for punishment.
I'm a glutton for punishment. Japanese games usually want you to think more. Japanese games are usually more creative. They're usually more out there and weird. Weird. But, you know, there's a lot of, you know, games that are, you know, Western that I like. But even if I think of, like, my favorite games right now, like, if I think of, you know, Jet Set Radio, Final Fantasy, Zelda, you know, those are Japanese games. BioShock falls into there. That's, like, the one Western game that climbed it. Portal 2 climbs up. Half-Life. But, you know, still, I think my list is predominantly filled with Japanese games. So, Glint says, BBG, would you go for a blue pill, a wrestler, video gamer, or red pill voice actor?
That's a good question.
So, like a wrestler, video gamer, like I'm a wrestler and video gamer, or I'm just like I'm playing wrestling.
No, I think you're
like
you're
a wrestler,
doing now.
like what I'm doing now, or a voice actor. Probably what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Because voice acting, I'm just basically reading other people's stuff. Like if I could like make my own games and record my own, you know, dialogue, yeah, but you know, I like being a wrestler video gamer because I'm more in control of it, and I can still do my like Macho Man impression.
You have a really eerily good. That's very upsetting to me.
Glenn has a good one too. He does Macho
really?
Man. Yeah. Glenn has a good Macho Man. Here we go. I think I figured it out finally. Kay says feminist themes. I thought you said no spoilers. I mean, we thought you would have figured it out.
It's a female protagonist, and then
I think she's being sarcastic.
Oh, okay, that's funny.
She's being lazy. She's being Lady Witty.
Lady Witty.
Lady Witty.
That's awful.
Tilton, spoiler for you, Kay. The future is female. The future is
Yeah, Kay, get on board.
Get on board, Kay. She's stuck in the past.
Living in the past.
She's living in the Mad Men era. It's no, my friend. It's intersectional. Hashtag work. That's really funny.
That's true. That's probably very
Actually, you're all wrong, Tilton. Hashtag the future is AI.
The future is AI because that's the only thing.
But the
that's gonna
AI
survive.
voices will be female.
They have to be because they're all female now. Think about it.
Because who else is gonna tell you the time?
Wow. You're the worst. But actually, Caitlin did make that point, and that's true.
Yeah, she made that point earlier.
That is one of the things.
That's called a callback. We're doing a callback.
We're doing a callback? You didn't tell me.
Oh, okay.
Gotta let me know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta let you know the callbacks. Yeah, man, the future is AI. Let's be real. Like, it's like, what's gonna happen first? The robots taking over, or like the Earth blowing up? You know what I mean? That's really our choices at the end of the day.
How do you really feel?
That's how I really feel. It's interesting because again, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's that theme, we're playing it now. Portal deals with a lot of those themes, but I feel like that theme has been around even when like movies couldn't really do sci-fi. Speaking of Twitch, they're showing Doctor Who. I remember we were watching just a few minutes of it, and we were like, "Ooh, this is rough."
Yeah, the '60s version.
Yeah,
or I think it was like '70s. I can't remember. I think it was I forget which Doctor it was, but yeah, it's one of those things where technology advances so quickly. And I think that was a question that you asked me in the last stream, where you were like, "Oh, like why?" I forget what you asked me. But I remember being like...
Must have been important.
Yeah, it must have been really important. I wish I was listening. No, but I remember just sort of being like, I think that technology moves so fast, and that's why it's difficult for us to sort of watch old shows and stuff like that, because what we're doing in television and movies is so different now and so advanced that it's almost like our attention spans have sort of evolved with that.
Yeah, and I know I always kind of like question the brains behind aperture science, the need to keep innovating, where it's like, why are we innovating these things that can very clearly destroy us in the end?
Right.
But also us as consumers, we sort of get hooked on that too. We need the new gadget. We need the new thing in technology. We don't want to remember phone numbers anymore. Why should we? Why should we look up the weather when we can have Alexa do it? It's like we
also
sort of.
I think that we're kind of an anomaly in that. Like I don't want any of those things. I sometimes have difficulty like using just my Google Assist.
I try to use technology for positive stuff, but I also get sucked into like, this is very clearly like wasting my time, but I'm still doing it.
I just ended up getting frustrated. When I had an iPhone, I would get frustrated at Siri and just end up yelling at her. And then I would feel bad, and I was like, I shouldn't yell at you. You're just trying to do your job.
Clint says that I'm telling the truth, that he can do a Macho Man impression. He actually wants to have a Macho Man off.
Oh no. It sounds like literally I had a nightmare of that one time.
Kay says she wants to book that gig. Future Siri. Hashtag Future Siri. Have I played Okami? Such and says. I have played Okami. I haven't beat it. It's actually one of it's my oldest daughter. It's one of her favorite games. She's way farther in the game than I am. She loves that game. We both love it. I love it. I haven't gotten as far. I haven't beaten it, but that's a game I really love. That's a game that I want to play for Backlog Adventures here on stream. But that's, when you talk about artistic games, the visual presentations.
Guys, cover your ears.
Getting changed.
Okay, look, the point is, we're going to break out of here all right, very soon, I promise.
That's a
I promise.
callback.
Just have to figure out how to break us out of here. Here she comes.
Have I watched Indiana Jones Temple of Doom movie? I have.
Never saw me.
I have watched. I watched the first original 3 Indiana Jones. I haven't watched the newer
Let's
ones.
just say he won't be, well, living anymore. Anyway,
Wow.
back to testing.
GLaDOS takes no prisoners.
She means business.
She means business. She's got her business core on.
It was compliance core. You were
Compliance
right.
core, right?
core.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Because, you know, again, it's that, you know, that's a feminist theme. You know, the
Yes.
whole...
But we're also not going to talk about it because we're
What's
not going to
the
spoil anything.
what's the big hashtag now? Like she was told to, but she persisted.
Yes.
But yet she persisted.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I'm paying attention. I'm trying to just figure out my G1 brackets, okay? I got stuff to do.
You got important work to do.
Yeah, more work. I'm trying to. The world's burning. I just don't know if I'm gonna choose Okada or Ibushi. All right, leave me alone, world.
Does anybody want to try give a crack of butchering that that phrase? Oh Lord, that's hilarious. But yes, the future is female and all those good things. And this game is just. I love it because it doesn't hit you over the head with it, but it's just present enough where you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then if you're looking for another game that goes a little further, I would say The Fall.
Yes.
I like it, even though it is what do you call it? What's?
Well, it's a side-scrolling adventure game.
It's like Limbo.
Yeah, it's like Limbo, but you know, a little more backtracking with the puzzles. Limbo's very much forward. There's not really a whole lot of backtracking where, it's very much like those old school point and click adventure games, but you can control your character as you do it. That's the best way I think I can. Oh no! I fell. Nevertheless, she persisted. That's what it is. That was close. Got half of it.
You know,
right?
she was trying, and and we were like, hey, maybe don't. And she was like, no, I think I'm gonna keep doing this. Because it was like, right?
Nailed
That was a quote.
Hey Bob.
What's the thing where
What's the quote?
the broad?
That one broad with the glasses.
She was all like, I'm gonna
Mrs.
keep going.
Mrs. Warren's profession? What was her name? What's her name?
And then
That's a theater joke.
And then we were like, maybe stop, maybe don't. And she was like, no, I think I'm gonna keep going.
Oh no! Ooh, I don't know what I was attempting to do there. Suchin says, if we can't do BBG versus Drunken Homemaker in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, then we should at least do it in Street Fighter 2.
Yes, because that one is so much simpler.
I'm terrible at Street Fighter games.
Oh, good. Then it'll
So
be
you'd
an
have a
even,
chance.
It'll be an even playing field.
You'd have a chance.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely awful at Street Fighter games, but I love watching Street Fighter. Street Fighter is one of the games.
One of the best.
You would
movies.
you wouldn't even try VR, like you wouldn't even.
Oh, of course I would try it. I'd try it one time. The kids, by the time it gets to that level, the kids will be like in high school, right?
Yeah.
And then the kids will be like, "Mom, try VR."
Yeah,
and
we
then
would have to get a VR for
They're
that
gonna do that video. They're gonna do a video of me,
Trying
putting
VR for
it
the
on
first time.
and spasming.
It
and
becomes a
falling to the
Vine
floor.
because Vine comes back in the future.
Yeah, it does because I bring it back.
You bring.
I bring it back because I love it so much. But yeah, it will definitely be my kids giving me the VR thing and being like, "Mom, try this," and then me like having a conniption on camera.
What if instead of GLaDOS, the actress?
By the way,
I forget her name. What if Christopher Walken was GLaDOS?
No. So here's the thing.
Got these portals.
You remember them, right?
You need to get to the
Them
next
pale
room.
circle things that are
Take
full
your
of
time.
For science,
You
monster.
You monster. You monster. Oh, let me do it again. You monster.
I'm getting closer.
The cake is waiting for you behind the door. You just need to kill the companion cube. He's not your friend. Don't listen to a word he
He's not
says.
your friend.
He's not your friend.
Awful. It's awful.
Please comply. Can you do any voice impressions? Do you have a few
like specific ones?
like people?
I do a really good one of Gopal, but no one knows who it is.
Famous people.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't know.
He's not famous yet.
I'm not famous yet. Yeah, I don't. Do I do one? Yeah, I just
You
kind
could
of
do
dialects.
you could do Michael Caine.
No, I can't.
Burn the forest down.
You do that one. You do that one. I love how he's like, oh, remember you do this one, and it's like the one impression that he can do.
Wait, real quick, into the game. Look, I love doing this with the turrets.
I'm
Look,
sorry.
watch, ready?
You have to do the Michael.
Bam!
You have to do the Michael Caine impression again.
Burn the forest down. How did you stop them? We burned the forest down.
We burned the first.
That's it. That's the only line I know how to do.
I don't even. And it's like the one Michael Caine line that you know.
Yeah, because
that you can-
I've seen a bunch of movies with Michael Caine, but I don't remember what he says.
No,
in any
and
of
also
them.
like his dialect is it's not an easy one.
Yeah.
I did a.
Kay says Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny.
Oh my god, I can't even remember.
I don't remember a lot of. I remember watching that movie a bunch of times, but I
Oh, I
couldn't.
feel like we rewatched it together too.
I couldn't tell you like stuff she actually said.
Yeah, I would have to like look. Like I would have to. I'm really bad because like I don't like do actual impressions. I do more like dialects. But oh man, that one's a good one too because I know what it sounds
I
like.
know how to do more impressions than you.
Impressions, yes. Dialects,
Oh my
you're rubbish at.
goodness.
Yeah, you can do better. You can do more impressions though. Yeah, you can. Look at that. Look,
Look at
Jose.
that. I finally got something. No, I'm good at. I'm better at you than virtual pro wrestling too.
You're
also.
better at me than it.
I'm better at you.
This is literally what me and Kenan were making fun of him for saying the other day, and you said it
During
again.
stream, right?
Was it during the? No.
Yeah, it was when we were doing the Donkey Kong stream. You're making fun of me. Kay says we should rewatch My Cousin Vinny. Such says it's raining over there. It feels like it's gonna rain here. It's
It's
definitely
like-
humid.
It's like swampy in here.
Glenn says he could do Yoda. Try voice impressions. You must.
So far, Be Better Gamer is like winning right now. He's winning. I can't think of any that I know.
Do.
It's awful.
Or do not. There is no try. My Yoda's rough. I used to do a Yoda when I was a kid.
You gotta workshop it a little.
I gotta
bit
work
more.
it. I gotta
You gotta
watch
work it.
the Star Wars.
I know.
movie
I'm
again.
rusty. I'm rusty on even dialects.
Uh,
I'm focused on because I actually we're doing a read through on the 30th. So I'm like, oh, I should probably work on my dialect.
Do something from Pride and Prejudice. Do one of the characters. Do and if I had ever played.
Yesterday was your birthday.
That is a quote that I do a lot from Pride and Prejudice because I always joke around about my wonderful musical ear. And then Jose just like makes fun of me like you don't actually like that's all in your head that you're really good at listening to music. What did she say? She says, I have a very good ear for music, you know, and if I had ever learnt, I would be a true proficient. That's my Catherine de Bourgh, which no one will know that reference. Possibly Kay will know it.
Google it.
Google it though. It's pretty dead on.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one.
But yeah, I know the reference. I know like the impressions that literally no one will get, and then like the one nerd sitting in the back will be like,
Can you do
That's it.
Can you do a Wheatley? Can you do a Stephen Merchant?
oh man. I mean, if I listened to, if I had like, that's the thing about Wheatley is like he has really like.
Do the bit. So they told me that if I ever released from my core, I would die. So here we go. We're gonna try it real quick. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2. Oh, that's really high up. No, that's really high up. Like,
Jose, you're like coming out of the woodwork with these impressions. I'm really impressed.
there's also something else you should know about me.
Oh yeah.
I'm secretly a spy.
Are you?
That's why I'm so good at impressions.
That's why that would be a cool surprise there.
Okay, speaking about technology,
Yes.
right? Because again, we're talking about like why create this stuff? Like, what's the purpose of it? What about in those movies where people can alter their voice like real time? because they have like
Oh, like
something
in Mission Impossible.
Yeah, they have like something implanted or something like that. Do you
That would
think?
be cool.
I mean, that sort of exists now with like apps and stuff. There's stuff on like when you do Discord chats and stuff like that. You can alter your voice in real time. But you think we'll ever have like implants and things like that?
Oh wait, it says she has a medical.
Yeah.
Where we can do stuff like that?
I do think so.
It's like, I got the voice implant. You want to hear it out? I can now do...
And I would always be like, no, I
can
don't.
do an Italian... Look at me talking with an Italian accent. Look at me talking
Yeah,
with...
but accents is different. I think voice we're gonna see before we see like kind of similar to the technology that we see in Mission Impossible, where it literally just kind of changes the intonation of your voice.
Oh, nice word. Intonation. That's the word of the stream.
Is that a real word? I don't know.
You
Don't
mean
Google
inflection?
No.
Cadence?
No. Inflection and cadence is different because that's how you say a word versus the sound of your voice, the pitch and all that. By the way, I'm also getting over a cold, so this is not actually my real voice.
It's your fake voice?
This is my smelly cat voice.
Uh-oh. I love the turrets. I love the turrets in this game.
Oh no.
I told you, right, that Valve has an actual working turret.
Yes, you told me that last
In
time, and I
there.
was like, what?
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Okay, he said they have an actual working turret, but it doesn't shoot bullets.
Doesn't shoot bullets, but it like responds to you. Kay says, I would love to be like the doctor where I understand all languages.
That is yeah.
I mean, that was also one of the big themes in Arrival that we saw, like the whole
Yes.
like you know, languages
Arrival, that
and like
movie. Movie's so good. Yeah, we need to have we're gonna have a very long discussion about that movie at another time for sure.
we should do a movie discussion like podcast.
We're nerds like us. Well, I would love to do a podcast. I think
You know,
that'd be
that hasn't been done before, but we could do
fun.
it.
No one's done that.
All right, we got the faith plates. Ooh. All right. How about this? Because we're always trying to. We've been asking a lot about like technology, like in the future. Do you think this that? Let's keep it with Portal 2. Let's keep it with Portal 2. If there was one piece of technology that's from Portal 2 that you would wish actually existed.
Oh no, I think you should open it up. Open it up, yo.
What do you mean?
Open it up. Any technology that you've seen in a movie.
But let's start with Portal 2 because
You
we're
wanna start
playing
with
Portal 2.
Okay, alright.
Pick one piece of technology, and then we'll open it up. And then we'll open it up to like, you know, it's like the superhero. It's like the superpower. Oh, is it something that comes in later?
No.
Oh, oh, we're not spoiling it then.
I'm like so hyper aware that Kay and Tilton are listening.
Whatever. This game came out in 2011.
Get on board, guys.
Should have bought it.
Future is female.
Future.
I would say the jumpy things. The portal thing, I think my brain will not be able to process the portals. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, I'm not good at using this, so how would I be able to use a portal gun? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd be like, I guess.
Wait,
And
where did I
did
shoot
I
that
do
other portal?
I don't know. I'd get lost all the time. So I think the jumpy jump shoes.
The jumpy jump shoes?
The jumpy jump shoes.
Yeah,
That's
that was
the
the official
technical
term, right?
Yeah, the one that enables you to... It doesn't enable you to jump high, right? But it just enables you
breaks
to
you-
jump from high places without
Fall
like
from
breaking your
anywhere, yeah.
limbs, right?
And I'm sure there's people who wear the jumpy jump shoes and they still manage to like kill
Yeah,
themselves.
that's true. And I'm not very graceful, so maybe I shouldn't do that. Oh, okay, now I have to think about it.
Kay says the pattern or melody of pitch changes in connected speech, especially the pitch pattern of a sentence, which distinguishes kinds of sentences or speakers of different language cultures. The act of manner of intonating, the manner of producing musical tones, specifically the relation and pitch of tones to their key or harmony.
So am I thinking of more of like a musical? Was intonation more of like a musical term versus like how you? What's the word I'm looking for? How you use your voice. Somebody just took over my voice.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah. I guess it is music if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going through the list of test subjects in
I can do-
cryogenic storage.
Dude, a lag horn a little. What's a lag horn?
A man and a woman.
Is that
So
the
that's
the thing that's in
It's a small
Inception?
world.
Mwah.
No, Are you talking about that chicken
Foghorn? Foghorn, Leghorn?
Leghorn.
Well, I say.
Well, I say. Yeah, that's fun.
I have a surprise
like that one.
waiting
I'm
for
trying to
you
think
after
of.
this next dance.
Can you do
Let's
any?
spoil the surprise.
You can't do any like any
So I'll
like
just
Bugs
leave you
Bunny,
hanging.
Daffy Duck.
It involves meeting two people you
I can do
haven't
Betty
seen
Boop,
in a
but my
long
throat.
You
time.
can do Betty Boop.
I
You
can
do a really good Betty Boop.
Hold on.
Boop boop beep boop.
Can you stop taking my impressions from me? Can you let me have one?
Let me have this.
Let me have this. Do it worse this time. Do it again, but do it worse so that I can learn.
So, chat, that was a terrible Betty Boop, right? Now, listen to mine.
I'm gonna do one just like off the top of my head. I haven't been practicing.
This is the
in
first time we
bathroom
get
or
to
anything.
burn the turrets, and I always feel bad when I burn them.
I know, because they're so cute.
They are cute, but they want to kill me. So.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah. Are there any impressions that you want to hear that Jose can do that he won't let me do? I'm kidding.
What was one of your favorite cartoons growing up? Did you watch Animaniacs?
I did.
Can you do Wacko, Yakko, and Dot?
Oh man, I know that I used to know all of these. That's the thing that's like killing me right now. Like I know that it's like.
All right, your homework for the next stream is to figure out what impressions you can do. I know you got them in there because you're really good with accents.
I know I do too. I know that I knew
really
all of
good
these
with
at
accents.
one point. I knew these at one point.
Oh,
I can
that's
do
what I'm
I can
doing
do
now.
Betty Boop.
I keep telling Drunken Homemaker she does a really good Betty Boop, but she also just kind of just does that. What would you say like? What time period is Betty Boop from? What?
Like a flapper.
Yeah, like the flapper. She does that like just that whole style really well.
Just stuff
I keep-
that would only benefit me if I was a voice actor because no one is gonna like look at me.
It would also benefit you as a Twitch streamer because you can totally make a whole channel where you sing famous songs, but in that voice.
in my Betty Boop voice,
Like-
which I have done for rock band parties.
Like you sing Creep.
No, I
But
sing.
I'm a queen. I'm a widow.
Jose, let me have this.
Just do that.
I actually like to sing.
It says this next
Actually,
test was
what
designed
song that
by
works
one
really
of
well in the
Actors
Betty
Nobel
Boop
Prize
voice
winners.
is Sabotage.
Sabotage, yeah, by Beastie Boys.
Now I know it wasn't
Glenn
put
says he
in
can do
the
Mickey
camera
Mouse. Can you do
box.
Mickey Mouse?
I can't.
So I could.
Oh, I used to have an
can
alarm
sorta
clock.
do
This is
the
so
laugh.
random. I don't know why we had this alarm clock. Somebody gifted us an alarm clock of Mickey Mouse, playing baseball, and it had like a little like innings and the scoreboard. That's what it's
Uh-huh.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I was like, who gave us this? We don't like baseball. Like we don't understand it as a sport.
Obviously, you didn't do any extra effort to
No,
learn after
no.
getting
we
that.
were like,
that
what is
gift.
this? Why? Who gave it? So
Now I
for-
really don't want to know anything about baseball.
So so what did he do? Okay, so when the alarm went off, which is like the most ridiculous idea for an alarm, he would go, okay, I'm sorry guys, I'm super sick, but I'll try. Okay. Haha! Time to get up! What is it? Time to get up, pal! We've got a game to play! Haha! Time to get up, pal! We've got a game
Oh my God,
to
it would
play!
repeat?
And it would repeat and repeat and
that would
repeat.
drive me insane.
So that's the only way that I can do an impression of Mickey is if I'm saying, haha, time to wake up, pal. We've got a game to play. That's the only Mickey Mouse impression I can.
That would drive me insane.
Yeah, we used it about twice, and we were like, so we're done with this, right? We're done with this random gift that our aunt probably got us because she meant it for someone else and then was like, oh, I guess I have to give it to these kids now.
We're done here.
Yeah, so that's my Mickey Mouse impression.
Pretty good. That was really good. I think Glint would approve on that one.
Oh, it's such a random memory, too.
Uh-oh. Did I mess up here?
Oh yeah, Dexter, yeah, that's a good one. I don't think I ever did like the like actual Dexter though. Like I did like Dexter as a show. How do you sound like?
Did he have like a sort of a German accent?
Yeah.
Get out of my laboratory! Oh, that was awful.
Nailed it.
See, they can't all be winners.
They can't all be winners because you keep trying to take them from me.
Yeah.
This is karma.
That's what it
That's
is.
what it is. He had a fun one too, because it was just like you could play with the sound of his voice and it was really fun, but I can't remember it. I'm so bad. Like I'm one of those people that I have to like hear it and then I'm like, oh, okay, this is what it was. It has to jog my memory. So maybe that's what I'll do is I'll look a few up and then I'll do it for the next stream.
Here we go.
Yeah, I like Dexter's Laboratory. I liked random ones. I was actually a big Scooby-Doo fan because I didn't have cable. So like whenever I would go to my dad's house, I was like, cable. And I watched Scooby-Doo, and I did. And I still, to this day, we were watching a movie where something happened, and I went, ruh-roh! And I forgot what happened or what movie we were watching, but I will still do that. I'll still do the ruh-roh.
I feel like even if you don't watch Scooby-Doo, that's just such a iconic thing.
It's so fun to do.
Yeah. Okay, I think I figured it out. No, wait.
That's so hilarious. That was like the best thing they came up with too. And then I used to do I do love Shaggy as a character because he's just so like, okay, I can't do it unless I hear it. I hear his voice in my head, but I can't. It's not making the connection to my mouth.
Okay, I think. All right, now. All right. I think I got it. Ooh, so trippy. Would you, like, want to ever go through a portal? Like, let's say they were like, we are now testing the portal travel from New York to LA. You know, and you pay
I've always said this in regards to traveling to see my friends. Like, if you could tell me, like, listen, instead of flying to see your friend, you could just teleport there. I would want to do that, but it would have to be tested because you see me like I'm like scared of putting a VR thing on my head because for fear that I'm gonna pass out. So I'm not the most trusting of technology.
I bet you think I forgot about your surprise.
But yeah.
I didn't.
What
In
if
fact,
what
we're
if
headed to a surprise right now. After
what
all
if
these
Aperture
years,
well Aperture
I'm
oh
just
okay, that's kind of
thinking about
spoilers. Would you volunteer for Aperture?
No.
Would you, like, what if, like, 10, 20 years from now, they're like, there's this company, it's probably going to be Google, that
It's probably gonna be Google.
wants people to test the latest, technology, human experiments. Would you ever, like, submit yourself to a human experiment?
No, absolutely not. I have my sense of self-preservation is too
initiate
strong.
a surprise
Here we go.
in 3,
This is one of my favorite parts.
2.
Look away! Look away!
I made it all up. Surprise.
She becomes so sadistic in this
In
game.
this one, yeah, because
And vengeful.
Yeah, which I
So I very
think works.
seriously doubt
Think
that
works
even
for
one
her.
to see you.
Do you think she's channeling?
yes.
Do you think it's her channeling what she's been through onto you more so than the fact that you tried to destroy her in the first one, but this is all sort of like pent up rage and emotion that's coming out
Yes.
without spoiling too much.
I'm like, change the subject.
We'll get to it. I think we're actually coming up to near the end of the first act. What time is it? Oh, we got 15 minutes. So depending on how many more puzzles, but the first act, I would say.
And Kay and Tilton are forbidden from watching the second one until they play the game. They're forbidden.
Ooh. But yeah, so we probably got we're not gonna go all the way too late tonight because Drunken Homemaker, she's the breadwinner. She's gotta wake up early in the morning and go to do a real job, unlike me.
I can't. I feel so bad when the girls are like, "Wait, but you don't have a real job," and I'm like, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to talk to people for
It takes a
hours
lot
at
to
a
just
time.
make a video.
On a side note, that's what I do for my other job. It's like I talk in front of people a lot. So yeah, it is exhausting. It's really
It's
exhausting.
exhausting. It's tiring. It's like doing a show. Like I always say, it's like doing a play. We're both in theater, so but it's very, after you would do a show or even after rehearsal, you're just so mentally drained. That's the same thing with Twitch, with streaming on Twitch or even recording audio for YouTube. It's tough, but my kids don't think I have a job, so That's good, I guess. They think I just play games.
They're like, look at this hippie.
They're very much like the people that I tell. They're like, oh, I'm gonna stay home.
It's like the baby boomers that you're like,
yeah.
They're just looking at you like, that's not a job.
You work at home. We're like, oh, what do you do? Do you have your own business? Oh, well, sorta. I have my own YouTube channel. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's not real.
I think the way to do that is sort of whenever anybody asks, I just go, he freelances, and that shuts them up because they don't they don't ask after that.
I also honestly don't care
Yeah.
how people react to it because
that's
like
fair.
it's like they don't get it, and that's fine. That's not their That's not their fault. They don't get it.
Yeah.
You know.
And also, I think that the way that we sort of this generation is just changing so much about like. I think it's a great time to be a creative person.
Oh, yes.
Because if you have something that you're passionate about and you can communicate about that topic, there's so many ways that you can sort of make your own path and make money.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to know how to do it. And that's the hard part. Is
and you gotta work at it. It's not easy.
That's the problem, is that people think, oh, like, it's such a lie. The whole... find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It's like, no, you have to work 3 times as hard because you're working for yourself.
Yeah, and especially if it's something you love, because you want that love to show when you're communicating it with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so we have a few more minutes. Glint's out. Take it easy, Glint. Thank you so much.
Have a good evening
for joining us today. We gotta do the little lights. Aha! Fooled you! Alright, we're gonna do... Gonna probably have to make like a portal with these lights.
See, like, stuff like my brain is melting just looking at this. So, like, I can't even imagine you handing me a portal gun and being like, Rosa, solve this puzzle. And also you have to do a lot of jumping. Like, I have bad knees. I can't jump.
What if Valve... Because when Valve announced that they were getting into VR, and everyone was like, why aren't you making Half-Life Episode 3? And they were like, we're going to work on VR. One of the first things they did was with their tech demo, they did a Portal tech demo, which actually just got released now. Now there's like a standalone VR Portal game sort of, where you can like make your own levels and stuff all in VR. But originally the whole tech demo took place in Portal, in a Portal puzzle. What if Valve is actually working on a Portal gun?
Yeah.
And they're using all the people who play VR as experiments. What if Valve becomes Aperture?
Jose, I think you just wrote a movie.
The video game company that made a video game to secretly test it on the players so that they could actually make the actual technology. Yeah, it's pretty trippy. Book it.
My mind explode.
Book it.
My mind explode. Yeah, we're about 15 minutes away from ending. Just FYI.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Tomorrow I will be playing solo. Tomorrow I'll be playing solo, not the movie. Stop it.
Or the song. I'm writing solo.
Yes. I'm hip.
You're hip like that.
I'm gonna be playing Breath of the Wild tomorrow. Virtual Boy was not virtual reality. I mean, I know it.
You have a lot of feelings about it.
I have history with the Virtual Boy.
He does. You just unleashed Pandora's box. You know what, Jose? You could stay on till midnight. I'm gonna go to bed. You're just gonna hear the Better Gamer rant for 2 hours.
I made the mistake. Here we go. This is funny.
The birth parents you are trying to reach do not love you. Please hang up.
Oh, that's sad. But impressive. Maybe they worked at the phone company.
Maybe they worked at the phone company. She's going in on Shell. I made the unfortunate mistake of begging my parents to get me the Virtual Boy that Christmas when it was coming out, because I was fooled by the commercial with the Virtual Boy walking. It's alive. I was fooled. I was hooked. So I had the Virtual Boy going up, and I guess that really was like Nintendo's sort of foray, with virtual reality a little bit. It only had 2 colors and it hurt your eyes after 15 minutes. But, now with virtual reality, I think about that. I think about what gaming is going to look like in 10, 15 years because of virtual reality, because I think that, like you said, technology moves so fast. Before we know it, it's going to become the thing that we feel like we've known all along.
Right.
Virtual reality seems so weird now, but it's basically an evolution of motion controls, and now we're into the virtual reality, and probably in 10 years, it's going to be like, oh, how did we ever play games without a virtual reality headset? How did we ever go into an open world game without this device, and it's like, I think about that, and virtual reality doesn't scare me. What scares me is, like you said, it's that need, that desire, like, okay, we figured it out how to do Portal in virtual reality, where you feel like your whole room has transformed, you're in Aperture. Now what if when you got shocked by that zap, that puzzle, that electricity puzzle, what if the player felt it in real life? It's like that need to take it to the extra step that scares me. Because like you said, it's like with virtual reality already, people are like passing out when they're playing it. Your mind doesn't know how to adapt to it. Are they going to try to take advantage of that? They already take advantage of us with mobile games, video games in general, loot boxes, whatever. Games are always trying to take advantage of us. And not just games too, like,
oh my god, to the point where I'm just yawning every 2 seconds.
Not just games too, but like, movies, Netflix. Netflix doesn't want us to move; it wants us to keep watching, and that's what kind of worries me about virtual reality. Because like we all see the Matrix, we all see the things, like there is that real fear of like, I'm gonna want to put on these headphones one day and never take them off.
That is what the play The Nether is about, actually.
Yeah.
So and the fact that it's interesting, The Nether is a play. And in that universe, people go into what's called the Nether, and you can plug in, and it's a virtual reality thing, right? And what ends up happening is that there are people, and I forget what the term is that they use in the play, where they stay in there so long that they sort of just kind of get hooked up to a machine, a life support machine, and their body withers away because they're living their whole existence in the Nether, which is like, it's, oh man, I gotta look.
Inception even dealt with that a little bit.
Yeah,
Inception dealt with that, wanting to like stay in that dream world. I mean, people already, you can get addicted to anything. But video game addiction's a real thing, and people become obsessed with their avatars, with wanting to stay in certain worlds, certain realities. If they make
what was that game, Second Life?
Second Life, World of Warcraft. I mean, just even less games that maybe not even a world, but like you get addicted, you want to keep coming back to them. I want to keep playing Rocket League. I want to keep playing GTA. I want to keep playing all these games. And like what I think about is like they're trying to make it easier with virtual reality. Like, what if there's a virtual reality Pokemon game? And you get to live in the Pokemon universe.
You get to actually fight your Pokemon and catch Pokemon.
And you walk around, and it's
I can do that with my phone, Jose.
Who would want... Well, that's the thing. We are doing that. And like, who would want to leave those worlds? And that's what kind of scares me a little bit about it,
Oh, preach.
BBG, you should do monthly update videos on YouTube again. I should. And Drunken Homemaker, actually, she's a little mad at me because we shot a June episode that I didn't edit and put up in June. And, obviously it was speaking all about June or May, so I couldn't, put it up in July.
And I kept telling him, I said, hey, what's going on with that video?
She was getting on me, and I just was running out of time.
Give the people what they want.
But I do plan on doing the monthly update videos again. They haven't gone away. They're just paused for right now. And but yeah, I'm glad you like them, Sachin. I'm glad you like the monthly update videos.
Now he's gonna do it because Sachin said it. Not because Drunken Homemaker said it.
No. Don't guilt me.
I'm guilting you. That's what you see. That's what you gotta do. You gotta guilt them. You gotta stay. You gotta stay on it. I gotta
Yeah.
stay on it,
Well.
you know? You gotta do the thing with the thing, you know?
Took you a while to get that one out.
Yeah. It got away from me a little bit, but I got it back, I think.
Oh man, but yeah, I am gonna do a monthly update videos. You know, especially to let people know. I like doing the monthly update videos. You know, letting people know. I want to be transparent with what I do. But again, everything just takes so much time. But I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out for sure. This puzzle.
It's all about balance.
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 Okay, maybe let me get back up there. Hold up. Let me get back up there. What's up, Chris Martin? How are ya? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, sometimes Twitch, like, even though the sentences shouldn't be blocked, sometimes Twitch is like, this is offensive. It's like, no, it's not.
This is sexual in nature. And
Yeah.
I was like, is it?
Christopher Martin says he's never heard about this game. This is Portal 2, the sequel to Portal. We played Portal 1. This is my wife, Drunken Homemaker. We played Portal 1 last week, and this is its excellent sequel. Highly recommend if you've never played the Portal games, Chris Martin. Highly recommend. Portal 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's on the list. There it is. I knew I was missing. Oh wait, I guess no. Huh. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. But yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's one of our favorite games too in our, like, I guess, relationship, you could say, as, you know, playing different games together. It's the game that has a lot of memories for us because we really fell in love with the world, with the lore of the Portal series. Really is a fantastic game, so I highly recommend it if you haven't played it. Definitely worth it.
It is 11:28 in the East Coast right now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be winding down this stream. Hold on. What am I doing wrong?
You can probably see my dip in energy from the beginning of.
You know, it's funny.
Those impressions really took it out of me.
You know, I was kind of thinking the same thing because, like, you know, with puzzle games, it's like you definitely feel when you're tired when you're playing a puzzle game
Because you're like,
because nothing makes sense anymore. You're just like, wait, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And I feel like I'm definitely at that point right now. But it is 11:30, and we said we were only gonna go to 11:30 tonight because it's not a Friday night. It's still school night for
me,
Drunken
I
Homemaker.
have to go to work tomorrow. And I have a really big day tomorrow, yeah.
I had some save game slots. Look at this. July 12th. Was this year? No. It couldn't have been.
No.
Oh, wait, these were the auto saves. Auto saves. Okay.
Where's the no?
Alright. But when's this one? September? Oh, when's that?
I don't know. It doesn't say the year.
Oh my goodness. I always love looking at old saves.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But
this game is about portals. No.
So
it is. I mean, it is about portals. It's a puzzle game that the first one was sort of made to sort of test out this new engine. So it was, you know, not lacking in story, but definitely a lot less story focused than the second one. The second one is where it's at. You're
basically a test subject, and there's this AI. Her name is GLaDOS, who runs this facility that's just used for human testing. And in Portal 1, you're doing, you know, just all these testing portals, and basically,
consequently, they have never
you know, your goal is to do all these portals and then sort of sacrifice yourself and kill yourself because the test subjects were all disposable. But you break free of that and you destroy GLaDOS, quotation marks, because in Portal 2, you reawaken in the same facility 60 years later, and GLaDOS is back. So now you're doing experiments for her again.
You gave away the whole first one.
And, well, because the first one is not, that's all there is. It's not really...
Yeah, but I like people to just, you know, you gotta let
That's
people
true.
just-
We played the first one on Twitch last week. I did upload it onto my regular YouTube channel, Be Better Gamer Proper, which you can find a link of on my channel, my Twitch channel page, in the panel.
I'm trying to figure out which one I have to wait. If I'm putting the monocle on this side, I have to link this
The
side.
other one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to move the monocle to this side because I can't link this side.
It is way past your bedtime.
It is so past my bedtime.
But yeah, I highly recommend, you know, if you want to watch our stream of the first one.
Oh, and then also, as you're seeing, co-op.
There's
co-op.
co-op. There is co-op. There's actual co-op in this thing. We did the co-op of Portal 1, even though there's no co-op. But there is co-op.
And if we want to laugh, I'll
two of you
I
have
can jump
forged an
in and do
excellent
some co-op with you.
I think it would be fun if we do the co-op
It's time for
afterwards.
You guys get to see me in
After
action.
we do the story. But yeah, I would definitely upload this stream as well onto the other YouTube channels, such, and thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me that. But yeah, this is definitely gonna go on there. And you know, like I said, we don't really want to give too much away of the story in the second one because
Well,
it's
I
really
don't.
something that has to be experienced. But if you want to maybe catch up so far what's been happening in the game, you can just rewatch this stream when we go off, and I'll upload it to my YouTube channel. But it's you know, the first one came out in 2007, second one came out in 2011. You can always find it super cheap on Steam. They're always doing sales. I just bought it as a gift for a friend of mine. You know, it was on sale again this summer. So highly recommend getting it. You can get it on pretty much everything now. Steam, on your Mac, Xbox 360, PS3. So highly recommend it. But this was fun. We didn't even get to like the first act break. That's how much longer this game is.
Significantly longer.
Portal 1, we were able to do it in one stream, and I knew this was gonna take us a few streams to get through. But I had a lot of fun. Any last thoughts you want to share, or what it was like to play Portal again? Portal 2 again?
For science, you monster. This is how I go when I'm really tired.
This was a fun stream because a game like this, you know, while you're doing the portals, like again, and this is why I love co-op connection, because while you're sitting around trying to figure out portals, your mind wanders, and I feel like this stream very much did that. Our mind wandered quite a bit.
Yeah.
We did talk a little bit about like the sci-fi and the themes of Portal and stuff like that, but we were talking about voice impressions. We were talking about a lot of random stuff tonight. But that's the beauty of co-op connection. That's why I love doing the co-op streams. Thank you so much again for joining me. I know you're stuck with me, and you have to live with me. So to take even more time out of your day to spend with me, I feel honored
You're so silly.
that you're doing that. But yeah, I had fun. Did you have fun?
I did.
So tomorrow I will be playing by myself Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We're almost through all the DLC missions. We're halfway there. I'm sure Tilton will be very happy about that. And next week the G1 also starts this weekend. So next week Monday I will be talking about the G1. You know, the first few days. On Monday while I play Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. We're gonna try to finish up the last couple of achievements in Impact Wrestling on Tuesday and possibly Wednesday. And then I mean I do have next week. I do have scheduled Kedem to make his return to Co-op Connection on Thursday. But maybe we might even do another Co-op Connection either next week or the week after, because I definitely want to continue Portal 2 with you.
Yes.
So I wouldn't mind doing 2 Co-op Connections back
and,
to back.
Kedem wants to hang out with us.
And yeah, and if Kedem wants to do, if he wants to come back and join us, because I know he was always interested in playing the co-op part of this game as well.
We can also get Nico to come.
Oh, Nico.
Nico will never.
But thank you so
Never
much.
see Nico.
But thank you so much, everyone, for watching today. Suchin, Chris Martin, Glint came through. Owen 316, Tyler Lawson stopped by for a little bit. Kay, Tilton,
Miss Desange.
Miss Desange. There we go. I couldn't remember what her tag was. And guests. I'm sure she had special guests with her.
Yeah, it's probably.
But thank you so much, everyone. What's your closing?
Oh, I go. And okay. I'm workshopping it. It's not a done deal. I go, okay, okay, bye.
She's Drunken Homemaker. You can follow her on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube at Drunken Homemaker. I was right, by the way.
You were?
So on Twitter, you're at Drunken Homemaker, but there's no E.
Oh.
So it's Drunken Homemaker. But on Instagram, you are
Drunken
full
Homemaker.
Drunken Homemaker. And
I'm
on
fully drunk.
and on YouTube, you're full Drunken Homemaker.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So there you go.
He knows
And
more than I do.
yeah. And I am Be Better Gamer. Thank you so much.
you so much for
Elta
joining us.
Ramisu is coming in while I'm trying to close the stream. What is up, Elta Ramisu? How you doing? We're just finishing the stream. But thank you so much for stopping in.
Yes,
If you want to catch what we were doing today, we were playing Portal 2 with my wife, Drunken Homemaker. But I will be back tomorrow. We gotta go to sleep. Elta Ramisu's like, oh no.
I know.
Oh no.
I know.
It's alright. There's
But-
always
but
tomorrow.
You're gonna post this one.
I'm gonna
right?
post this on YouTube. So, but thank you for stopping by, even if it is for at the very end. I really appreciate anyone showing up, whether it's for the whole stream or a minute. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much. I am Be Better Gamer. Until next time, you know what to do. Always be gaming. Thank you.